Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar.
Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
Every day we come in here, something's moved around different.
If it's one thing I'm bringing to the table, I think it's the tinkering factor. It's way high.
You are so annoyed with this studio.
Here's the problem, Brent. We have a beautiful facility. We moved in here, radio did a year or 2, 3 ago. I don't know, pandemic screwed that all up for me. But they redid the whole place. You know, the old company that was living here really lived in like a dumpster fire of a building up here. It was gross. So we redid the whole thing. New carpet, new walls, new everything. They built these high-tech studios, and then no one asked anyone on the air if it was functional for us. So here we are with all these things in our way, and I'm just trying to make it right. I'm trying to make it great, and I'm struggling.
Yeah, if you could get like a hacksaw in here, you would.
I would. I would take this table out or cut it in half or something, cover up these windows, man, these lights, get them off the wall.
Every day, folks, like we come in, I'm like, Aaron, you and Casey have done a great job with the stream. Stream looks good. It's fine. They don't care what we look like that much. We're just there for the people to listen on various apps, various applications, platforms. That's all. We just want to make it easy for you,
That's true.
the listener. I don't need you looking at my face for the next 3 hours. If you do that, that would actually scare me. But Aaron wants it to look good.
I want us to be best.
And so here we are. So, like, by the way, we're reconfigured. Now I'm looking across the way.
I think it's a little bit easy. Now I'm not sitting sideways the whole time, and we can have conversations.
I feel like this whole setup is like we just figured out there was a pandemic. Like we're 2 years late on the whole COVID thing. Now we are 6 feet apart.
That's true. And I did just have COVID a couple of weeks ago, so maybe just in time.
We can spit at each other across the way.
Sounds great.
So there is that. There's now this vacant space. I feel like something should be here.
And it looks weird, right?
Yeah, I might get one of those like desk basketball hoops.
Ooh, I like that.
To throw on there.
Or maybe like a skateboard finger deck park over there or something. I can get with that.
Let's check in with the Casey meter to begin the day because, it kind of set me in a bad way yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't over that. How's he doing today?
Well, I'll tell you that I've spoken maybe 3 words to him over the last 2 hours. He seems very quiet. Let's check in with Casey. Casey, I got something that may cheer you up right here. Hold up.
I haven't been here 2 hours.
Hold on, Casey. Here you go. There you go. That's for you, bud.
Why is that going to cheer me up?
What kind of Celsius is that?
That's a sparkling kiwi guava.
I got the coffee right now, but I'll be getting a Celsius in a moment.
You know, I brought that coffee maker in for you. Brent.
Coffee maker, fridge. I got to get the coffee and some hazelnut creamer for the fridge.
Hazelnut, huh?
I'm a hazelnut creamer guy.
Trust hazelnut.
I actually I have a new methodology now when I order coffee.
What's that?
Because, like, I go to Starbucks because it's the most consistent coffee.
Okay.
Right? But but I'm cool with anything, like Wawa, whatever. Like,
I mean,
Wawa's
clearly
great.
you're drinking Starbucks.
But right now it's Starbucks.
Awful coffee.
And it's the most consistent, in my opinion. It used to be like
consistently burned.
Big Dunkin' Donuts guy.
Donkey Junkie, bring it, bud.
Yeah. And I like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. You're a Northeast guy. Of course you like Dunkin' Donuts.
Going on every corner.
Yes.
Right? But so anyway, when I go order coffee, whether it's from any place, I don't think they put enough cream in there. But then if you like extra cream, they're going to like dose. It's going to be too much, right?
Yeah, you got to get on the side or something.
So I've come up with the perfect thing that's worked the last couple of times.
What do you say?
So I say, whatever, big coffee, hazelnut cream, and then I say whipped cream on top. So it does 2 things.
It needs space.
It gives it space so it's not spilling out the side.
Okay.
Which is awful,
right?
Because they fill up the top so much, and then it spills all over you as you drink it.
And they think they're doing a good thing for you.
They do. They are. I mean,
with you, man.
It's impossible. And the lids aren't like somebody should come up with a better lid.
Yeah.
But they leaky lids.
Leaky lids, ruin pants and shirts.
But anyway, so now it adds a little more cream to it as well with the whipped cream.
Pretty smart strategery.
Yeah, like I've been ordering coffee for the last 10 years, and it took me that long to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But anyway, Casey Meter, how you doing today, man?
Fine.
I pulled in the parking lot with you, and the first thing I did to him was flip him off.
Yep.
This poor kid. Yes.
I didn't know you were in your car, and I was literally getting out, and I look over, and you're just flipping me off.
Catch is such a beating.
If there's cameras in the parking lot, you'll see me flipping off Casey.
I just want to know how long you were like that until I got out of the car. Because I was like texting
with the finger.
I was like texting my grandpa. So Yeah, like I don't know how long you were there, and then because I was in the parking lot at least a couple minutes before I got out, and then there you were.
That's actually how loved ones say hello to each other in Boston.
Absolutely.
Just throw the finger at
You know,
each
my
other.
favorite emoji on the phone is the middle finger.
Oh.
But I can't use that very often. Although Casey decided to use it the other day,
He did.
adding me on Twitter. I'm like, we're in a different ballpark. Like, I don't feel like I can use that, Casey. You just don't care.
I don't care. But what did I send you that for?
He also used it in the text when describing my reaction to his interview question.
Yeah.
Like, here's my thing, Brent. Like, who's gonna get on you for sending the middle finger emoji on Twitter?
Well, I don't know. Like, you never
you're not.
know.
Let me clarify. You're not above that.
Oh.
No, I'm not above that, but like I'll even say like once in a while I'll throw ass out there on Twitter and like I'll get a comment or two like, I don't like when you do that.
Yeah.
You know, something like that. And to be
Unfollow.
honest with you,
Unfollow,
well, I'm not I don't understand on Twitter why people have to swear. Like to me, swearing is not ass. Like that's a little different. Like I do poop emoji a lot too, so I'm kind of swearing. And I don't mind swearing. But I like the constant like the F-bombs on Twitter and stuff. I don't get it. Like I don't. Like it's done with some regularity, and I just don't like. I wouldn't want that on my feed. Of course, doing what I do, and kind of if you do the middle finger emoji, it fits in that category.
I kind of feel like as
I
I've
like
gotten
the middle finger emoji. I really do.
As I've gotten older, it does feel weirder to curse in text, like on social media. I used
Yeah.
to be freewheeling with all kinds of cursing. I mean, I love a well-placed curse.
Oh yeah, me
is
too.
amazing.
Actually, like I don't mind swearing.
But man, yeah.
I've realized this too. I don't think I said this on the show. I think I said this up in Canton, Ohio, to somebody. People swear now.
Yeah.
Like so much.
Yeah.
Like really do. Like you go walk by like this group of 16-year-old girls and you'll hear like F-bomb.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, like
Sign of the times, Brent.
it's just like I don't even know what it means. Like I don't think I'm bothered by it. It's just kind of like, wow, that's a different sound. Like when we were in high school, we might say it amongst the buddies and all that stuff, but I don't think like publicly for everybody to hear. We were saying it.
My friends were. Maybe
Like
you
they
had a
didn't care
nicer group of
swearing
friends.
in front of like
Oh,
other
man.
adults and
At
stuff
teachers,
like that. Really?
Oh yeah, I hung out
Like, I
with
don't
a real
remember that.
bunch of dirtbags. Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't make you a dirtbag if you swear.
Oh, these kids were dirtbags.
But how about you, Casey? You're the youngest of us.
What do you
Swearing
think?
like, are you? But is it commonplace? Like in maybe I don't know about formal settings, but more public settings to like just hear kids like F-bombing left and right? Like is that like that doesn't catch your ear, huh?
No, I just continue on my day.
Yeah. So it kind of catches my ear. Maybe I'm kind of old, but
Not kind of.
yeah.
You're just old.
And
Period.
like I said, I'm okay with swearing. Like I don't. It doesn't bother me, but I'm just thinking if there are kids around.
You're also in a business where you're kind of trained to have your red flag go up when you hear something you're not allowed to do.
That's true.
You know,
You swear at me all the time.
Well, I do. Like I
Yeah,
said,
you
like
earned it, buddy.
I do.
You don't deserve it, but you earned it.
I'm surprised I haven't slipped up on air. I've come close to saying the poop emoji a couple of times.
Oh, man.
Just like you get so casual that you close. So
I got
stay
a
on that
story.
drop button.
I got a story that
Always
passes
ready.
the statute of limitations for you. A long time ago, used to be a station in this town called X1029. It's moved numbers and frequencies since then, but I happen to have launched that station back in 2009. And around 2009, 2010, we had a song on the air by Sublime. It was off the self-titled album. It was called April 26th, and it's got a lot of curses in it. It's about the LA riots. And we put a version of the song on the air that we didn't realize had all the curse words in it. I'm talking
all of them.
14, 15 times.
Really?
They're saying these curse words. It played for 2 weeks before we noticed. It was just like background music to us. And as long as I heard the song playing, I wasn't paying attention to it. One day I get an email from a mom and she goes, look, I'm real freewheeling with my language and I don't really mind it, but I do have a kid in the car. Do you think you can play the censored version? And I'm like, what is she talking about? And I find out we've been playing the curse for 2 weeks. I thought I was getting fired that day.
Probably
I
should've.
thought it was
You
over.
probably should've.
Curtains. We should have gotten fined or something. Nothing.
And nothing happened.
Scot-free.
How many times are you afraid you get an FCC violation, but you really don't get
In my
it?
career?
No, not you. Like, I'm just saying in general. Like, does NBC always get dinged if they
No.
have like an F-bomb?
No, and F-bombs are allowed.
In an MTV
I know-
award show, you know?
I know it seems counterintuitive, but a curse doesn't get you an FCC fine. It has to be like a purposeful curse. It has to be something you did with purpose to like titillate or excite. That's why the Janet Jackson thing was so controversial. Clearly, it looked like a mistake during the Super Bowl, But the claim was that they did it on purpose.
Yeah, it was choreographed.
And dressed it as a mistake. And so everyone
Which
kind
still
of
would be pretty good. That's
yeah.
pretty well done.
Sure.
Well choreographed.
Very well acted.
If you have both, but much like the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
Many people didn't know if that was real or not.
No, I think a lot of people thought it was
Because
fake.
why it was so outlandish. Same thing with the Janet Jackson.
And like
thing.
Will Smith is not a guy that hits people, and Chris Rock is a funny person. So yeah, I'm with you. I thought the same thing at first.
How? By the way, did you see the apology a couple weeks ago?
I did, yeah.
I almost brought that up. I actually thought it was cool. How was that received? And like, because I don't pay attention, like how that stuff's received.
I think that Chris Rock kind of mocked it a little bit.
Oh, he did?
I think he's still kind of annoyed with it.
Well, that's fine if he's not.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty.
I just don't think fans
Will Smith,
care.
I think Will Smith's probably a good guy.
He seems like it, right? Like that day, it just kind of seemed like if you're going to guess, and I don't know the guy, I'm not in his therapy sessions or whatever, it just seemed like Chris Rock wasn't the reason for the slap. He was just the person who received it.
Yeah.
Like I get home from a day working with Casey and my kids are getting yelled at. They didn't do anything wrong, but it's not their fault.
Casey, we never did get the full story on the Casey meter. How's it doing so far?
I'm fine.
I don't buy it.
I need a number.
I don't
You
buy it.
starting off the show at a 7?
I don't know which way I'm supposed to be going.
7 is good.
5.
Okay. So that's really good for Casey. It's really good. We're in a good spot.
I dropped him off some Hall of Fame cards yesterday.
Okay.
Any value in that?
Get
I
anything, Case?
didn't open them.
Oh, you didn't open them
man.
yet.
No.
What are you holding on for?
I bought those specifically for you. I'm going to send one down to Mark Davoli as well. I don't really think they hold a lot of value as of yet. Maybe you can get them signed, though, and then they would hold more value. But I guess they do this every year. That's like a card set of the enshrinees. And so I bought one for myself, too. They were only like $5, And
It's a good deal these days.
well, so again, like
Can't get
that's why I
nothing
know
for
there's
$5.
not a ton of value in them, probably. But the lady at the register said, I said, this is a cool idea. I said, do people buy these? And she said, yeah. So I think my dad has bought it for 32 years in a row. I was
that's
like,
cool.
well, that is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have
That's a nice
every
collection.
class,
Sure.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now I
Especially if
wanna
it's
get
just a
them signed.
$5 invention.
But again,
investment.
so like I asked the question we asked the other day, like what then, right? Like if you're Casey or Dan Linguini, maybe you're taking them out to these
Bro,
events and
give
trying to get
up
them
on
signed.
Dan,
But like if you're a regular person, are you displaying these? Like what's the collection? What's the end game there?
You
Yeah.
have them all.
Yeah, again, we talk about that with memorabilia. It's
Yeah.
a hard thing to display.
Yeah.
You collect a lot of things, and where do you put it?
Yeah,
Like, why
well,
do we
maybe-
collect stuff?
Maybe you make something like I'll put it in front of the camera, but you got this like framed celebrating 15 years of Jaguars football from a few years ago. I think
it's
just
kind of an ugly
different,
poster, really.
but it's like different tickets through the years, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so like I get that if you're doing that with the Hall of Fame cards, maybe you got like a shadow box, you got a big display or something, but 30-something years, you're talking a lot of cards.
But you do that 5 times and you run out of walls. That's my point. It's like,
Yeah,
where do you
for
put
sure.
it? Like, if
You
you're
just
gonna
put up the good ones.
I mean, look, we collect alcohol back here. It used to be on the show, but not anymore because now Aaron's, changing cameras
everything
around 50
every
times.
45 seconds.
There you go. There's that. Hey, the Jags. Let's talk Jags football a little bit. And the Jags were out on the practice field today. Went over there. A nice hot one today.
Man,
And
I don't know how you do it.
The Jags just sweat a lot. That's how we do it.
Oof.
The Jags are going to play their starters. That's really what came out of today. They will not have James Robinson. Jamal Agnew makes sense. They're certainly on their way back, but they just don't want to put him out there yet. Laviska Shenault. I saw Christian Kirk working more out to the side. I kind of wonder, too, if they're going to go with him, depending on how that rolled ankle feels in a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd keep an eye on that. We don't know just yet. But that's it. I mean, they're going to play. That's no surprise. I would assume they'll play up until about a quarter, let's just say. A couple of drives. Depends how it looks like. And we're going to get a good look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. These next 2 weeks now become our measuring stick, our barometer for what this football team could look like going into the season. That's what we're going to draw our conclusions on. And so it's a big Friday coming up for the Jags.
Oh, yeah. What does that tell you that they're throwing the starters out this week and the next game? Is that what you were expecting, or you think there's a thing there?
Yeah, I think he showed us a lot last Thursday night when he played as many people, and I lost $40 with Luke Fortner bet. I mean,
didn't have
seriously, like that showed me that he's going to be aggressive. And then he goes and hits the way they hit on Sunday and knock ETN into next week. And it was like, cool, this is football. And they're going to do the same thing Monday. So he's going to keep his fingers crossed, but he must feel that they need action to get ready. And I understand that. Like, I get it. That's why you're going to do it. if you're just going to sit on the sideline. Now, you go to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers has been playing in the league for 14 years. He's like, it would be a waste of time if I play a series.
Sure.
Like, why am I doing that, right? So I understand that, too. But you got a new offense. You got a young football team. You want to see – you've got some position battles.
Yep.
And you want to see what it looks like. And so I would I don't mind them playing this game. I minded them a little bit on Thursday last week. When that whole Tyson Campbell thing – like, I was not in that camp. I was not in the camp of playing those guys 4 days after putting pads on.
Yeah.
This one I am. Now you're 3 weeks through a camp, and you've got a preseason game, and then you got another one, and then boom, we're on to the season. So I am cool with that, and I expected it. So I expect the first quarter play, and then maybe into a quarter and a half in the first half of the game against Pittsburgh, you'll see more significant action. I think there'll even be a little bit of game planning for this. They'll start to install some of that. They just ran out and played football the other night. But this will be more of, hey, let's see if we can do some of the things we do at a very elementary level without revealing too much. And so I think we're going to see some decent football for the first quarter, some things that we can judge the Jacksonville Jaguars on against the Cleveland Browns. And that's kind of exciting. Like, that's a good thing.
So 2 more questions for you. One's from Sawyer, one of our guys who watches Twitch normally.
I just answered that. But
Okay, never mind. I was going to ask you, Brent, for the listeners. Now that they're leaving Episcopal, where are they going for practices? Back to the field at the stadium, or what?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So what happens, here's the calendar for the Jags. We're on a Wednesday. They've got a walkthrough tomorrow, probably in the flex field. They've got game. They've got off day. They got another walkthrough in the flex field on Sunday. Then next week, they'll go this, I think, hard-hitting physical practice like we saw this past Sunday. They'll practice next week. They'll play against the Steelers. And then camp basically breaks. So next week is the final week at Episcopal. Then they can actually get out of the hotel that they're in for camp after the Pittsburgh game, like Tuesday after Pittsburgh. Then actually they go right to Atlanta anyway for a couple of practices. And so they really don't need to find a practice home until the August 29th. And that's 2 weeks leading up to the season. And I believe that that place is going to be the flex field.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to use the actual game field for that because a new turf has been set down. They don't want to rip all that up for the game that will be played in a couple weeks. They could still do that, but I think they're going to use the flex field. And the reason that they can do that and don't have to stay at Episcopal is because they'll be from a 90-man roster to a 53-man roster. So you can put 53 guys in the flex field. Putting 90 in the flex field is kind of hard.
A little bit, yeah.
So, well, not tear it up. You just don't have enough room.
The room, yeah.
So I think. And you get back into – now you get to normal game week kind of stuff, like the camp, the drills, all this stuff that you really pronounce this time of year. You're not doing that as much as you get into the season. So you don't need to be as spread out is my point. So I think that's the plan. Now, do they go somewhere else once in a while to get out of the flex field to stay in the heat because they might feel like that's important? Maybe they do use the stadium, but I don't think they're going back to Episcopal. It's a good question, but I don't think that's in the plan. So next week's the final practices at Episcopal.
And then the second question, the more important question to me, did you see the Dan Arnold video out of practice today?
Yeah, it was our buddy Noah. Noah tweeting that out, and that's a fun drill.
Yeah.
Dan Arnold's a fun guy.
He's a fun, psychotic guy.
Yeah, and he's my guy.
Yeah.
But
any Dan Arnold news I want to bring to your attention.
But yeah, Dan Arnold, like the big ball drill and then jumping on the mat. I mean, basically, it looked like you went to one of those trampoline places.
It almost reminded me of American Gladiators.
Yeah, a little bit of like that pit, right?
I was just at one of those trampoline places, actually, last weekend.
And so, Arnold seems like a fun guy. But I've seen him after practice. Like, he's got some personality to him. You just don't, like, tight end, whatever. I don't think that's hey, is tight end a personality position, Casey, outside of Kelsey? I guess Gronk.
I mean, he's like the only one.
I mean, Darren Waller.
I mean, Mercedes Lewis was a really nice guy, but you weren't going to find him charismatically at the center of a party.
Kyle Pitts.
Is he a personality?
A little bit.
Is he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Not that I'm out there researching Kyle Pitts interviews, but
He was a Gator. Yeah. That's background
Kyle
for
Brady didn't necessarily have like some huge personality for you.
But like we say, some corners, right, have that from Dion to Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, very much prime time, wide receiver, even running back sometimes.
George Kittle.
Yeah, and Kittle does have a little bit of that, right, Casey?
I mean,
like,
a little bit,
like,
yeah.
I'm not talking, like, I don't agree with you on Pitts, by the way. Like,
Okay.
I don't think people would say Kyle Pitts and be like, wow, personality. I'm talking Gronk. I'm talking Kelsey. And I think Kittle does fit in that. He's been hurt so much recently, I don't remember, like, some of the fun stuff of Kittle. But over the years, that's not like, that seems more like an all business, less personality position. But Arnold quietly has it.
Yeah.
Because again, you saw that piece of video, but I've seen him do some like just funky stuff with,
He's like a wild guy.
Trevor and other things. You can just tell there's something there. There's more to tap into there.
Get your boy on the phone. Come on.
With Dan Arnold.
Need more people in here.
It's like, we got a spot for him.
We got like 4 spots. Bring it.
So the Jags are playing that first team. That'll be the big story. One other observation about Trevor Lawrence, and maybe we don't talk about this enough. I'll share that with you when we come back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. KC Meters at a 5. We're having a hell of a day on a Wednesday.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Today, mostly sunny and hot with afternoon highs in the middle 90s with a few showers and thunderstorms. Into tonight, early evening storms, then gradual clearing skies with lows in the lower 70s. Your Thursday, mostly sunny and hot with a few widely scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon with highs in the low to middle 90s. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedrick, and that's your Action News Jax First Alert forecast.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down.
Honey, I'm home.
Don't honey me. I'm still mad at you.
I know, and I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
You and those cheap do-it-yourself cameras. I told you, call Safe Touch, but no, you tried to save a buck. So when those two thieves... Safe Touch cameras would have alerted the thieves that they were being recorded, and you and I would have been notified with actual video on our smartphones. The Safe Touch two-way communicator would have already had the emergency authorities on the way.
I know we really need the Safe Touch 5-star security and surveillance system. I'll call today.
I already did. Safe Touch is installing our new 5-star surveillance system in the morning.
Every family needs the Safe Touch security and surveillance system. Call now and get a free demonstration. 888-723-8682 or online at safetouch.com. Dramatization of actual event. EF 0000233. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, poker players. The Summer Heater Poker Tournament Series is at Best Bet Jacksonville from August 11th to the 21st, featuring 11 different poker tournaments, including the main event, a no-limit hold'em tournament with a $1,500 buy-in from August 19th to the 21st. If you're looking for an exciting poker tournament this summer, visit us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Florida's largest poker room. View the tournament and satellite schedule at bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com. Don't miss it.
Not 100, not 200, not even 300. I'm talking 400 pre-owned on the lot, ready to test drive at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. All makes, all models, all waiting for you to test drive and take home today. Plus, Arlington's 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Your next great ride is waiting for you at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Hi, this is Keith Gurr, president of American Window Products. Right now, we're offering a free installation on 6 or more windows, as well as a free energy package. Go to AmericanWindowProducts.com and click for an estimate. That's AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, we are the window professionals.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
We have that flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Coach said live and don't hit the knees. That's all I heard. So it was first play. He was on the sideline tiptoeing. I know we made eye contact, so it wasn't cheap, but it's good work though. Getting that live work, I was glad that Coach said we on go. And me and Travis good, no beef.
That is Andre Cisco. By the way, pleasant surprise right now.
You talking about the bump music? It's great, or not?
No, Casey being a 5.
Oh,
on the Casey meter. Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter on ESPN 690. Jags are going to play the starters. Andre Cisco is a starter. He could really be I think he could be a big-time player for the Jags. I think he could be a big difference maker.
What does he need to put together to really step it up?
Well, I think it's just, this is a team that had 7 interceptions last year. This is a team that has had like 0 turnovers, it feels like, in relative to the rest of the league the last couple of seasons. He is a turnover machine. Now, he also can be a big play machine because guys that take risks can give up big plays, but they make big plays. Troy Polamalu is like in the Hall of Fame for doing that.
Right? His hair, yeah.
But he is. I mean, if you ask football, like there have been football people over the years that would say Polamalu also missed on a lot of plays.
But weekly, he was taking somebody's head off.
But he was perfect for like our Sports Center world where we just look at the highlights.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're making a big impact play, it's okay if you give some up. And that's all right. That's kind of like today's world in Major League Baseball. It's okay if you strike out 400 times if you're Giancarlo Stanton. But if you hit it 600 feet, sometimes that's cool too.
A little more
and you
than
can get away with it.
But yeah,
right?
Definitely. Yeah, it's a highlight society.
And it is. It's like the risk reward on that. Well, the Jags didn't play him last year. They didn't throw him in there for whatever reason. We have said communication a little bit could have been an issue. And Joe Cullen had enough to deal with and maybe just didn't trust a young guy back there. And but a team that couldn't get turnovers to not play him, that's his MO, didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But now he goes in there. He looked good the other night, albeit because there were some busts and he had to go make open field tackles. He's made a play, it seems like, in every day at camp. Like, I like those guys that do it in camp. Tyson Campbell made a couple plays again today. Tyson Campbell is making plays.
Yeah,
and Tyson Campbell seems like a playmaker.
It sounds like they're not just making plays, they're stacking those plays, stacking days.
Yeah, and people will say, like, I think you can have young guys. We talked about Benji Franklin, right? In camp for about 5 days, he made a play, like, every day. It's like, wow, who's this guy? I said Jawaan Winningham, same thing. Well, but those are back-end guys trying to make the roster. We don't know if they would do it when the lights came on. I think Cisco as a 3rd-round pick. Tyson Campbell is a 2nd-round pick who's played out there. We've seen him make plays now. Cisco's made them at Syracuse and in the bright lights. And, the game's not too big. He's got the skill set. He's got the athleticism. For him to start to make plays in practice, I think means more than even those other guys that I brought up. And we're not even sure if they're going to be on the roster. And it's a more important player, quite frankly, because you don't have a lot of depth. So I love what Cisco has done early. Will it translate? And I'm okay with a couple of bust plays if he gets some turnovers. This team needs turnovers, which means this team needs a guy like Cisco to take a gamble or two, a calculated risk. And I thought Trevor was fantastic the other day, saying he's like, listen, he takes calculated risks and he's right more often than he isn't.
I mean, that's what you want to see, right?
And so can he bring that to the field? Is that the player he's going to be? And I believe if this guy can have a strong year, I'm not saying a Pro Bowl year, a strong year, and hold down that back end and come up with some splash plays. Well, that's not even something we're figuring on this defense when we're talking Trayvon Walker and Aluakin and Foley Fatukasi and Josh Allen and Tyson Campbell. We're planning on those guys making plays, not really planning on Andre Cisco doing a whole hell of a lot.
Okay.
I don't think, because we haven't seen it. So if that's a surprise that you could get in that back end, well, now you got a chance, because if you get turnovers in this game, you know what that means. You usually end up on the winning side. Been a major problem for the Jags.
So like we talk often about, which phase of offense or defense, what's going to matter more to the Jaguars for it to perform on defense. If that secondary is performing in a way that we weren't expecting, chances are the guys up front are eating well too, right?
Well, that is very true. And that's what they like about the idea of having the three guys that they have. They have a very strong cornerback room.
Yeah.
I don't think we can't say secondary because Rayshon Jenkins didn't do enough last year.
That's fair.
And Cisco, we don't know what he's done. He doesn't have, and there's not a lot of depth if those things don't go right. So basically what I'm getting at is I think he is a massive X factor for the Jags. Like when you talk about guys that you just don't know about and see how they'll do, who's the X factor on offense?
For the Jaguars.
This year, for the Jags. Again, you have plans in your mind for guys like Kirk, Marvin Jones, Trevor, ETN even.
Yeah, I would have called ETN that X factor just because you don't know what's going to be after the injury.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But we also are planning on him being good. He was a first-round pick.
Sure.
And he almost better be good. I almost think James Robinson fits the X factor mold a little bit better.
You almost have
because he's coming off the injury. Can he still do what he did? And if he can still do what he's done the first 28 games of his career, well, now you do have that 1-2 punch potentially.
But you do almost have like 5 different X factors on that offense. I mean, Christian Kirk has got to be an X factor. You hope he's a guy, but you don't know yet.
Yeah, I think I think we're getting a little semantics here. The bottom line is Christian Kirk has to be good.
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't mean he will be.
I'm not sure Andre Cisco has to be good for the Jags to have a solid defense. But if he is good, it could really elevate the defense.
Yeah,
that's my point. So I'll give you the guy that I actually think is the truest X factor on offense, Evan Ingram, because Evan Ingram has the capabilities to have a huge year in this system with Doug Peterson and with all the other things that he might be able to have a matchup against defenses that other guys don't get their hands on and don't have the ability to get. And so he could go from a 60-catch guy to an 80-catch guy.
I mean, that'd be his biggest year. I think.
By far. 64 catches is his best year. But at the same time, there's some concern about drops and underperforming.
Or even injuries.
What if he ends up at 40 catches? Well, that's disappointing. Or could be disappointing. I don't know what the numbers are.
Does that sink the season with all the other additions you've got? I mean,
no, but that's my point. It doesn't sink the season.
Okay.
But you have ability. If he gets 80 catches and he's super dynamic, that makes everybody else better, makes you harder to game plan for, and that means you're probably putting up more points.
Yeah.
And so I actually think Ingram, again, I think it's debatable, but I think Ingram could be like the ceiling and floor is pretty wide. Same thing with Cisco. Like, I think the ceiling on Cisco could be way up there. If he translates his ability to get the ball like he did in college to the NFL, well, that's something the Jags really have not had a lot of outside of like 17. They really have not had that guy on defense. I'm trying to think. I mean, heck, you might have to go back to like Rasheen, who was a ball-hawking guy.
Yeah.
And like you could count on him for interceptions. Listen, Shaq had a good year last year. You couldn't count on him for interceptions. He had some go through his hands.
Yeah.
Casey, give me somebody. You hear the conversation. On offense especially, give me like an X factor that could, if this guy does well, the Jags might get another win or two in the standings.
I mean, ETN.
Yeah, so ETN is it for you? And that's what Aaron was saying.
Maybe it's just that you think the X factor window is a lot larger than just a regular guy window, because you seem to be pretty confident that Kirk, even whether he's the guy or not, you seem to feel like most likely the neighborhood in which he'll be performing based on his history.
I think Kirk at the very least, right? I think Kirk's going to get his 65, 70 catches for 900 yards, right? The thing about Kirk is he's going to elevate his level of play to a 90-catch guy to 1,250 yards.
Like 10 touchdowns.
That's right. Like, that's the question.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be the guy that he's been at the least. They paid him to be a step above that. You know what I mean?
Which is why he can't be an X factor.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He needs to be your best player because you signed him to be your best player.
Yeah, and by the way, I think I disagree with you guys a little bit on ETN because I think he's going to be dynamic. I'm already penciled him in my mind to be dynamic in some capacity. Now, I understand what you guys are saying. We haven't seen it.
And not to poo-poo it, but if he's not, and James Robinson still needs some more time to get right after the Achilles, you're in a world of hurt in that backfield.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could. That could go south in a hurry. We saw it last year.
Yeah, and then the passing game hurts. It's just that to me is a pretty big X factor.
And I kind of look at it, again, we're going crazy with the letter X, I guess, but I just really feel like it fits Cisco so much because there are no expectations necessary on him. Like, nobody's sitting here saying, hey, man, I expect Andre Cisco to have 4 picks. and 2 forced fumbles and make every tackle.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think people are curious, can he do that? Or is he also going to give up bust plays because he takes calculated risks and going to cost you 3 touchdowns?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, honestly, that's the way I look at Cisco. And I like him. But I don't know which one we're going to get as he transitions to the NFL. So my point is, he has the capabilities from the college days, if this is why you drafted him, to get the ball. If he comes up with 5 turnovers, I mean, holy cow, that's like more than any free safety I can remember in Jacksonville doing that. And that's his MO. And so even if he gives up a couple of bust plays, the 5 turnovers could change games. They could win you football games. Because as much as Trayvon Walker needs to make impact, he's probably not getting 5 turnovers.
Yep.
You need him more to get 8 sacks, and hopefully Cisco cashes in on the back end because of that or something. So I think it's a fascinating discussion. If all things are equal and things play out kind of the way we see, like we think they could play out, and that's why I don't put ETN in the mix. Ingram, I think it's the same thing. I think there's a lot of people in the fan base, and even as a 1-year, $9 million deal, people are like, okay, this is a low-risk deal because even if it goes bad, it didn't cost us a bunch.
And it doesn't hurt
the
as much.
ceiling is potentially really good. And so, like this, it could really fluctuate. And I think those 2 guys that we mentioned, from my standpoint, Ingram and Cisco, I think they also have a chance to elevate the win-loss column or what it looks like. Like if Ingram's really good, you could go from averaging 24 points a game to 27 points a game. And I think he really could. But to your point, ETN could really change that too. ETN, if he's if he's Alvin Kamara, well now, holy cow.
Or just this
Right?
like utility, stick him everywhere. Stick him in the slot, stick him on the edge, stick him in the backfield. Especially in those Peterson offenses, those quick-moving offenses where they keep you on your toes. I mean, I think this guy could do some real damage if he's on the field and healthy and playing up to his potential.
I tweeted this today, guys, different topic. Casey, who's your favorite quarterback in the NFL right now outside of Trevor Lawrence? Joe Burrow?
Yeah, Joe Burrow.
Justin
What
Herbert?
happened to Mitchell Trubisky?
What happened to Trubisky?
It would be Herbert or Burrow, but I'll go with Burrow.
I don't think we talk about this element of a quarterback. When I say throw the deep ball, you think of guys like Rodgers, right? Because he threw like the Hail Marys, and he's got such a strong arm.
Like a little arm flick, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, right? Boom. Just let it go. Herbert. Seems like he throws the ball downfield quite a bit.
Oh, yeah,
Lets
sure.
guys run under it.
Yeah.
Burrow has the receivers, although I will say, Casey, you probably watch more of him. Burrow feels like more of a guy that lets Jamar Chase catch it at 8 yards and go another 40. Or does he throw the deep ball a lot to those 2 guys?
He's got Higgins and Boyd. He could throw downfield. Like, they have a bunch of options to go downfield on that team.
He throws it. Yeah, he does throw it deep a lot. But the thing that worked for them last year was a lot of, like, he threw it deep, but it was only like 20 yards. And by the time he threw it, he was separated. So the air time was only like 20 or so yards, and then it broke. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, well, here's where I'm going with it. I tweeted today. Trevor Lawrence, man, he threw this ball, guys. And I've seen this like every day at practice. He threw a ball to Zay Jones today. And it's just like, you see it go up in the air. And you're like, my gosh, that thing's pretty. It's like NFL films, right? Slow
Tight
spiral,
yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden, you see the separation from Zay Jones at the end. And it is in the arms. It is beautiful.
That's awesome.
And by the way, the receiver, he's got to know when to slow down a bit, know when to speed up a bit. You can't give all the credit to Trevor. But I see it like daily in practice. He throws a beautiful deep ball.
And that's only going to get better with those receivers, with those reps and time as they spend time together.
But, like, I don't know if we've ever said that about a quarterback around here. I think he throws an unbelievable deep ball. And here's my barometer for this, guys. When I was covering the Patriots for like a 2-year span when I went back and worked in Providence early in my career. So this is 2002 to 2002. 2000 to 2002. 2002 to 2002 had been a very quick appearance in Providence, but 2000 to 2002 was 2 years. When I was, when Brady wins the Super Bowl, I covered that one in New Orleans. And, of course, he doesn't have to do a whole hell of a lot there, right? They're running the football. They got the best kicker who is about to, unveil himself to everyone. And their defense is strong, and it's Belichick's defense. And so as he won that Super Bowl, the storylines immediately following were, and even whispers beforehand, he doesn't throw the deep ball very well. Doesn't throw the deep ball very well. That was the early scouting report on Brady. Go back and check it out. He doesn't throw the deep ball well. That was a conversation when I was working there and covering the Patriots. Well, what stands out about Brady? Throwing a Randy Moss in like 2008 and everything's boom, 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 like dropping dimes.
But that's Randy Moss.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, do we ever, over 20 years, does anybody ever say, like, Tom Brady doesn't throw the deep ball well?
No, not really.
And so, like, he doesn't probably get enough credit for how well he throws it. I think people were wrong about him not throwing the deep ball very well, but that was like one of his knocks, his criticisms. And so that's early in his career. Maybe that is something you develop, is my point. To your point, well, I'm telling you right now, Trevor Lawrence already has it. It was on his display in his pro day. Remember his pro day, Casey? Remember he aired that thing out? Now they add that play like all the time to everybody's pro day.
Yeah.
See how far you can chuck it rolling the other way? Well, I think he always has had it. I think he's a brilliant deep ball thrower to begin with. And watch that this year. And he likes to take shots too. So I think this could be, like, that's an underappreciated skill, I think, in the NFL sometimes, and I think he's got it.
One last piece of evidence to back up the point that it really does develop with these guys, especially the best of the best. You said Joe Burrow earlier. Joe Burrow's rookie year, he ranked 31st. 32.5% accuracy on the deep ball.
Barely
last year, he was 5th. 60%.
What constitutes a deep ball?
It's like the air yards.
But is it like 20 yards? Or
it's 20 plus, I think.
20 plus? I'm telling you, I think there are good quarterbacks that don't throw the deep ball great. I'll give you the great. Who's the best deep ball thrower maybe in the last 10 years that people actually talk about? Russell Wilson.
Okay.
He's one. Like, people compliment him on how well he throws the deep ball.
Yeah, when I think Russell Wilson, I think deep ball on the run.
Well, yeah, and that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. So, anyway, just another thing to rave about Trevor a little, that he has that in the arsenal.
Yeah.
The question is, do they have guys that can go get it? And Zay Jones is one in practice now with his speed that has been able to take the top off a bit. We'll see if it translates to the regular season. We'll be back on ESPN 690 right after this.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When you look at a schedule, it reveals more than even the schedule what you really think about that team. Bad teams, their schedules always look brutal because they're no good, so you don't think they're going to win many games. Good teams, you look at the schedule, oh, it's not so bad because they're favored in a lot of those games. I guess I would also take the under on the Jets, but just. Like, I think 5.5 games is right. I'll take the under.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
I want to take more chances with the embroidering.
Henley's vision for a new clothing line is coming into focus.
Dramatic.
They'll need an on-staff photographer to put their collection in the spotlight.
Why is no one taking shots of these?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Walk into 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center, and it doesn't feel like you're going to the doctor's. Beautiful artwork of Jacksonville on the south side location, a laid-back atmosphere, and Rep Butler and his staff are really fun to talk to, and they are there to help you out. First-time appointments and adjustments, just $39 and maybe less pending your insurance. 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center. 3 locations, south side, St. Augustine, and the west side. Look them up at 904chiro.com. 3 locations, 904chiro.com.
The Jacksonville Police Athletic League enriches the lives of children by creating positive relationships between law enforcement and the youth of our community through educational, athletic, and leadership programs. This is Mary Bishop, the Executive Director of PAL. We'd like to invite you to get involved. With your support, we can continue to deliver our core program services: after-school education, summer camp, sports, mentoring, and teen leadership. To get involved, go to jaxpal.com. That's jaxpal.com. You can make a difference in the lives of a child. PAL today, leader for life.
Out and about, you own it. In the know, you own it. On the course, you own it. At Community First Credit Union, you can own it all. Bank how and when you want to, and wherever life takes you with Community First. Get free checking with rewards and free digital tools that make managing your money simple and life simply better. Go ahead and own it. Add an account today at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
For seniors, staying healthy can be complicated, but one of the easiest routes to good health is prevention. No matter what our community's current COVID-19 infection rates are, getting your booster shot now is a smart way to protect yourself from severe illness later. ElderSource encourages people 65 and up to get a safe, free COVID-19 booster. For more information, visit myeldersource.org or call the ElderSource helpline at 888-242-4464.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've been involved in a car accident and are not sure of your legal options, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice-cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
I want to take more chances with the embroidering.
Henley's vision for a new clothing line is coming into focus.
Dramatic.
They'll need an on-staff photographer to put their collection in the spotlight.
Why is no one taking shots of these?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Maybe a second, probably a third-round pick. He's a really good player. I don't know if he's Darius Leonard or Fred Warner, like two guys I think are great players. And he doesn't impact the game because he's not an elite pass rusher. He's a really good football player. And I think they're in a tough spot because you want to keep guys that are, he's a core football player, but you don't want to overpay because you want to, for receivers that score, you want it for pass rushers, left tackles. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. They're in a tough spot.
I missed the beginning of that. Who was Mike Tannenbaum talking about?
Roquan Smith.
Oh, of course, being traded. So he didn't sound overly high on him. Is perception of Roquan Smith better than he is? Maybe.
It's pretty interesting.
I don't know. He said a second or third round pick is what it would take. That seems like he's pretty high on him for a non-premier position.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a non-premier position.
A couple of people guessing landing spots for Roquan Smith. I don't think there are too many. Like, who's really in the market to spend that much on a linebacker? Some of these suggestions, like the Atlanta Falcons. Do we really think the Falcons are going out there and getting this guy?
Played for Georgia, though.
He did, and he grew up outside Atlanta. So, I mean, I get the connection. And they have cap space, apparently.
They do.
Yeah, they do. Their roster sucks.
Yeah, they just got rid of a pretty high graded linebacker, so I'm not really sure.
The three of us could have played for them.
How about the Ravens? He's got connections to that squad.
That'd be unfair. They don't need him. Like, you're not going to sit Patrick Queen.
I don't think they value. Yeah, they don't. I mean, they are a reload at the linebacker position team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're like a give up a second, third round pick team.
How about the Broncos with their win now roster?
Yeah, I could
I
fit
go with that.
Yeah,
could fit. They're in need. And they got a connection there with a defensive coordinator, worked under Fangio when Fangio was in Chicago and working with.
Yeah.
They have any picks left?
It's a good question. Maybe not. We were kind of talking about that the other day, too, with the Dolphins when they got stripped. What about the Chargers, though? Chargers are in need here. They need to shore up that defense. A tremendous offense. They got a connection with Brandon Staley, who was on the Bears coaching staff, and a ton of cap space.
They have a lot of cap space.
They do.
Wow.
They have more cap space than anyone else in the league right now.
Really?
The Chargers?
Or at least anyone on this list.
Oh, they haven't paid Herbert.
They didn't pay Herbert, but they paid their receivers, both of them.
Both of them.
And they
big
brought
money.
in Khalil Mack.
Yes.
And they've paid Joey Bosa.
Yep.
And so they still have that much cap
They
space.
got $14.5 million for this year.
Now that's an interesting one.
I wouldn't say
I don't
Kenneth
know.
Murray for him.
Is that who they have?
Yeah.
The former Oklahoma guy? Who else?
That I don't know.
Kenneth Murray's hurt.
Oh, he is?
Yep.
Like season-ending hurt?
No. But he's hurt. He's down right now. Free agent signing Kyle Van Noy, possible starter Drew Tranquill, but
well, I'd take Roquan Smith over today's edition of Kyle Van Noy.
Of course.
Same.
That's pretty interesting. Like those are some good landing spots. Like Atlanta doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
They're rebuilding. I'm not
Because
sure
they're
where they would go
super
there.
rebuilding. So
Yeah.
this isn't like a move you make when you're starting to rebuild.
Right.
It's more of one you make
when you're there
to finishing touch,
like the Chargers,
and Denver. Like that's a good point. That division. I mean, you got to keep getting better and better in that division. So
don't slip on these Chargers now. J.C. Jackson back there, Khalil Mack. That defense.
How
could
do
be
they have
something.
any money at all?
I know it. That's crazy. They
It
have
is
that
crazy,
much
right?
money.
Maybe
I
they just
forgot about
backloaded.
J.C.
I
Jackson.
did too. That was a huge signing, right? It was like a
80 something, yeah.
Or was it even more than that? It was
Maybe
that much?
maybe they backloaded a ton of it.
Man, that's crazy that they could afford that.
14.5 will get it done if the Bears can help out a little bit.
I don't know. Like, I guess if I'm those teams, see what happens when you're those kind of teams, you're like, can X player take us to a Super Bowl? So the Jags would ask this question around like 16, 17, like we want to get to the playoffs. Will X player get us to the playoffs? Like we need to make this step. And they did. They got Calais and they got A.J. Boye and those kind of guys. Now they needed multiple players.
Yeah.
But then what they did, remember what they did that year? The most underrated move of the season is they traded for Marcel Darius, right? And they said, hey, now, this is going to make us really good. Like, we're all like, why are you doing that? Your defense is really good. Why do you need that?
They were right.
Yeah,
And
it
they were
turned out,
right,
yeah.
right? Boom, put it on top. So then, I mean, let's just say the Jags were to continue to do pretty well in 18. I mean, they got off to a nice start, but let's just say they were doing well and they thought they were a Super Bowl contender. Well, you got to make the one move that makes you a Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, winner.
Right? So what will get you over the top? Well, that's kind of where the Chargers are, even though they didn't make the playoffs, right? Denver is more, hey, is this guy going to help us get to the playoffs? I would say Roquan Smith fits. Chargers are more like, no, we don't want to just make the playoffs. We think we have a good enough team to win it all. Does this guy help us win it all? And I would say, I don't know about that. Like, I'm not sure Roquan Smith plays. Like, is he going to make enough of an impact to do that for what you might have to give up?
Okay.
I don't know if he changes the dynamic of their team to that amount.
But for the Chargers, you're not just talking about if Roquan Smith will put you over the top. You're going, will Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, and Roquan Smith put us over the top? Because that's what you've spent on.
Well, I understand that. But what I'm asking is, will J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa already get us there?
I hear what you're saying, but I disagree with you because they're still trying to figure out how to get to the playoffs. Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
might have a roster that's
This
good enough
guy.
to win it all.
This guy.
They still haven't got there. And I think literally you didn't get there by a game. Roquan Smith wins you a game.
Yeah, and that's like
they
I
win
said,
a game somewhere along the line with him, and then they're a playoff team, and then who knows?
Yeah, and that's the first step for them. And you're right, because I do think they're a team that gets, like, they get in the dance, they can win it all.
Exactly.
Denver gets in the dance, I'm not picking them to win it all.
No,
Like,
sir.
I don't, even with Russell Wilson. Like, I'm
No.
not picking them to win it all. Like, the Chargers are built differently. So that's a good point, Casey, but that was the question I was asking. I was like, you make that move if you're the Chargers, if you think what Casey just said. You're like, listen, we're right there. And we don't want to be in that last game of the year where a tie gets us in or we got to win to get in. No, we'll take care of business by week 15 because we just got Roquan Smith.
Yeah, man.
If that's what you think, then go make that move.
I'm calling it now. He's going to the Chargers. That makes so much sense to me.
In a weird way, I'm just not sure he goes anywhere.
You think he's sticking with the Bears?
Well, you got to be willing to do it or a deal gets done. A lot of times a deal gets done. Metcalf wanted out. Debo
You're right.
wanted out. The
You're
deals
right.
got done.
And
you can tell he likes Chicago's organization. It's
Well, I
not
thought
like he
he
wants
didn't.
out of the city.
I thought
but-
that's what the problem was. I thought he was upset
Well,
with
he
the
doesn't like
direction of the
office.
organization.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. He doesn't. But I guess, you know what changes that? A
Money.
lot of millions of dollars.
I'm with you, man.
We take
I'm
a
with
break.
you.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Rolls on a Wednesday on ESPN 690.
Beat the heat at Best Bet. From the state's top poker room to live action simulcast wagering to amazing sushi and drinks. Come experience nonstop excitement at Best Bet with great daily high hands, lots of table shares, and tons of poker cash games and tournaments. The action is sizzling. Play the hottest card games, including Ultimate Texas Hold'em, 3-card poker, and Pai Gow. You must be 18 years or older to play. More at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet. Experience the best.
Walk into 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center, and it doesn't feel like you're going to the doctor's. Beautiful artwork of Jacksonville on the south side location, a laid-back atmosphere, and Rep Butler and his staff are really fun to talk to, and they are there to help you out. First-time appointments and adjustments, just $39 and maybe less pending your insurance. 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center. 3 locations, south side, St. Augustine, and the west side. Look them up at 904chiro.com. 3 locations, 904chiro.com.
Hey, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. That summer heat's right around the corner, and so are those high energy bills. Don't just sweat it out. Do something about it. Call Koala Insulation today for your free evaluation. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
Join Jacksonville Women's Business Center on September 15th as a life of education, service, and advocacy will be recognized to honor Dr. Johnetta B. Cole for her Global Athena Leadership Award. Dr. Cole will be recognized and honored at an event at the Adam W. Hebert University Center at UNF on September 15th at 11 a.m. Athena founder Martha Mayhood Mertz will be in attendance and participate in a conversation with the honoree. Register now at jaxwbc.com or call 904-366-6640.
I'm getting my kids ready for back to school. I'm Heather. I'm a Jacksonville mom, and every morning I start my day with Action News Jax.
Welcome everyone to Action News Jax.
I'm Jada from Orange Park. I watch Garrett for my weather.
We are seeing some clouds just
He's a certified meteorologist, and his forecasts are always the most accurate.
And I'm Lisa from Fruit Cove. I can't waste time in the morning.
We've got some breaking news this morning.
Action News Jax gives me what I need so I can get my day started.
So we're telling moms everywhere to do what we do. Start your morning with Action News Jax.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Celsius Essential Energy is Jacksonville's official energy drink of summer, and Jacksonville summers are fueled by Celsius. If you see ESPN 690 out and about this summer, come grab an ice cold Celsius Essential Energy. Live fit.
O'Reilly. Improve your vehicle's gas mileage and power with Royal Purple Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And right now, buy one 6-ounce bottle and get one free, plus earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Save money on gas and boost performance with Royal Purple Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
Auto Parts.
This should be 8x7.
When it comes to closets, Janina's home organization business runs tip-top tidy.
Is this schedule right? I'm gonna need help.
But she needs to reorganize and find a new assistant.
I know it's your last week, but can you make sure the Hanson pantry's wrapped?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 8 days after the NFL penalized the Dolphins for tampering with Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady, the teams held their first of 2 joint practices today ahead of their preseason opener Saturday at Raymond James Stadium. Plenty of eyes are on QB Tua Tagovailoa as he gets ready for his prove-it season in Miami. Tua needs to continue to build on the progress he's made at camp in these joint practices and the preseason, says ESPN NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum.
Stack one good day on top of the next. Show command of this new offense. You have a new head coach, new play caller. Lots of new weapons highlighted by Tyreek Hill. Go out. Don't let the ball hit the ground. Get in and out of the huddle. No false starts. Play good, clean football, and keep working towards opening day.
Mike Tannenbaum on Get Up. Browns receiver Jakeem Grant Sr. was placed on injured reserve with a season-ending Achilles tear. Former Maple Leafs defenseman and Hockey Hall of Famer Orja Salming said in a statement he has been diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. The 71-year-old is receiving treatment in his native Sweden for the progressive nervous system disease for which there is no cure.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
Live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine Studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
For now, he could play in this based on the 6-game suspension. But if the league were to win this appeal here and it became a full season, he won't be able to play. So no word right now as to whether or not the Cleveland Browns will actually play him on Friday. Obviously, we know rust is a big factor. We haven't seen him in over a year, but this is really going to come down to the Cleveland Browns' decision if we don't hear anything from the league in the next few days.
That sounds like Diana Rossini to me. On a roll, Casey, aren't I?
Man.
Doing good.
Doesn't that make your Casey meter go up to 5.5 when I get it right?
I'm going to go with no.
Sure.
Not very convincing.
Anytime I look up and the sound's playing and your headphones aren't on, I'm just immediately like, you know what? Why do I even try for good sound?
I appreciate it. It's for the listener. It's not for me.
It's not like Brent is the audience.
No, because there's here's the thing. I pull sound for a reason unless there's none. So there's a conversation to be had with this piece of sound.
That is.
So the question will we have it? Half the time we don't. So then I'm like, I pulled good sound for no reason. The listener's like, oh, this is good sound. Good work, Casey. And then Brent talks about freaking coffee lids.
Yeah, well, listen, first of all, there's two things going on here. I say in the commercial break, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to steer the conversation this way. So I just had a comment on, no, I didn't say that to you. I just in my mind. Okay. Right?
Great. So that's how I'm going to.
So while I'm surprising you, you're surprising me with some excellent sound that spins me right back into Deshaun Watson and puts my prisoner clothing and sunburnt face on hold.
Prisoner clothing. You do look like a prisoner in like a French silent film today.
You know what's funny is I'm looking at the feed, like I saw the feed once, and I'm like, look like I just got out of jail. Like, I'm not a striped shirt guy very often.
Yeah.
But I actually got these on the clearance rack, and I really like the feel of the shirt. And I was like, you know what? I'm going with some striped shirts. But I probably have worn striped shirts like since 4th grade, not very often.
Well, look, man, not to sexually assault you with my words, but you look good today.
Thank you.
And like, again, not to go back in for the double dip, but you got the body where you can wear stripes.
Is
I
that
can't.
a body thing?
Oh yeah, I can't wear stripes. I'm too bulbous.
Bulbous
in the chest and stomach area, but you can do it.
You remember bulbous thighs, Brent?
Yeah, I do remember now. Bulbous is a great word.
Brent looks like at some point in his life he enjoyed going to the gym.
No.
Man,
I hate the gym.
Take off your shirt. Let's see.
Especially right now. I haven't been to the gym.
Let's get all the guys in the room to take off their shirts. Audience, bear with us for a second.
I do look at the feed, though, and think, Brent, you might have just got arrested this morning and didn't change. Although now they don't even wear that stuff. It's like an old school,
man, it's
like
just
you
like
said,
orange
a French
now.
prison.
Yeah.
It's orange. Why don't they go with the old black and white?
New style, bro.
The hamburger guy.
Go with it.
You know?
Okay, Boomer.
What's his name?
The Hamburglar.
Hamburglar. So, but I do look at the feed like that. And then, so I will get to Deshaun Watson in a minute, but since I brought this up, Kevin says, watching the feed, didn't realize it, but that Canton sun must have gotten you too. It sunburnt my knees and arms badly. You look kind of like a strawberry on my screen.
You may need a better phone. But is there
I've done a
anything...
good job on sunscreen out at camp.
Yeah.
But I will say, halfway through today, I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot to put it on.
Oh, man.
And I wasn't going back to my car.
You're lucky. You can wear a tan, and a guy like me.
Man, all these compliments from Eric.
I'm just saying.
This is fantastic.
I find you mildly attractive, Brent. When I get a sunburn, it is a disaster. I mean, when I was like 21, I was valet parking cars at Long Beach, New York. I caught a sunburn so bad on my shaved head, I blistered for like 2 weeks. I had ooze.
On your head, on your shaved head.
Coming out of my shaved head. I had to go to the doctor. They gave me a cream. Man. It was the worst.
You got to wear the sunscreen. I just failed today.
Oh, yeah.
And therefore, boom, this happened.
Sun is unforgiving.
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz. But that's like third-degree burns when you get that.
It was literally second-degree burns.
It's not good. Meanwhile, that excellent soundbite that played about Deshaun Watson does get us into, like, Deshaun Watson has to play, right, guys? I mean, why wouldn't you play him? Like, I don't understand. I heard the report from Rossini, and I get it because he might not. No, I don't get it. Like, this is the time to play him. Like, you have to get him some kind of action. Guy hasn't played in a year.
Do you have to get him action,
Yes,
though?
you have to. And
like, if he's definitely sitting out the first 6, if not the whole season.
Casey, who's like third on? Who's after Jacoby Brissett on Cleveland's depth chart?
Casey Kurtz.
I mean, that's not a question I know off the top of my head. So just give me a second here.
Yeah, no, when you can. I mean, it's okay. Like, it's okay. You don't have to do it. But whoever he names.
Jimmy G. Just kidding.
Whoever he names, right?
Joshua Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs.
All right. So really, like, what's the point? Like, I love Dobbs.
Oh, and Josh Rosen.
And Rosen. Gonna make his comeback.
Actually, Rosen, I'd have some intrigue if I was the Browns.
Really?
But,
I would
Okay.
too.
well, I would to see how he played. Yeah, I would have some. But my point is, like, let's just take the Jags roster. They actually have 4 quarterbacks that are kind of interesting. Now, Dobbs has kind of run his course a bit. But again, Rosen is kind of interesting. But what's the point of, what are you going to see out of guys 3 and 4? Because if you have to play 3 and 4, you're screwed. So just play Watson in case you get him back. Like, you've got to play Watson to see, just to get him some reps in case he does come back in late October. Or even if it's like a 10-game suspension, he comes back in November. At least he got some playing time with these guys.
Are August reps really going to matter if you're coming back in October?
Probably not, but can it hurt?
He hasn't
Maybe.
played in a year.
Who's it hurting if Watson plays?
Oh, talk to me when he tears his Achilles.
Well, yeah, but even that, you can run the risk of it. You might not have him anyway.
I guess that's my
Like,
point.
there's no risk.
If you can run the risk of him sitting out the season, then why bother playing him? Like, you need Brissett to get those reps, but once he's got him, to your point, yeah, maybe you don't want to go 3 deep, but, like, if Brissett goes down, you're really screwed.
Casey, where do you come in here? Like, he's got to play, right?
I'd play him all 4 quarters.
Why not?
Haven't played him a whole year.
Play him
Now
at
you're-
every position, too.
Now you're going to have to sit out a whole year. We're paying you how much money guaranteed? Yeah, get out there.
Well, and that's a really good point. Like, from just a dollar standpoint, now they're only paying him $1 million this year, but they're paying $230 million guaranteed.
Yep.
If I'm the owner, I'm like, play the damn guy. I got to get something out of this year.
You want to see what you
Even
bought.
if it's just to get people excited for when he does play eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes out and lights them up on the first drive, like, the Browns fans will be fine. It's stupid, but they'll be fine. I would eventually play Rosen, though. I agree with you.
Yeah, Rosen has some intrigue to me, man. Like, I mean, he's probably nothing. They're probably right, but that whole Rosen thing was such a weird deal.
Very weird, but he has been turned away from 3 different
teams.
franchises.
I know it. There's got to be something there, but there's a reason why he's getting turned away. But I would be kind of interested to see Rosen play as well. Here's the thing. So Jacoby Brissett, what, does he play like 2 series, Casey?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe first quarter? Then I play Watson second and third. And then I play one of those guys like Rosen. I mean, whether it's I don't know where they are in the depth chart, but it's Dobbs or
I'm with that.
or Rosen.
But, like, what's
and then
your
you've got the
purpose
next
there?
game to do the same.
Like, I
thing.
know we listed a few reasons why you would think about playing him, but if you're the coach or the GM or whoever, the owner wants to make that decision, what is the purpose there?
He hasn't played.
Well, okay, so
But he's not going to play.
But so there's three reasons. Okay, if I'm the coach of the team, if I'm Stefanski, one, I have got to think like he's being suspended for 6 games.
Until otherwise.
I
Sure.
have to.
Okay.
Like, I have to get my team and him ready to play in late October. I have to. Because right now that's the ruling. And just because the league's appealing doesn't mean they're going to win the appeal.
You don't think it's more important to get Brissett ready to play?
Well, he's going to play too, though. Again, it's not like Brissett's going to sit on the bench. I'm just saying Watson has to play in this game and play more significantly because I do agree with Casey. The guy has to be rusty. You can't just go out and play quarterback in the NFL in a game when you haven't done it in a year and be exactly the same.
And we've seen
I don't
that.
care who you are.
Right.
Like, that doesn't work that way. So there will be some rust to shake off. Get it off now so he's more ready to play when he comes in late October. And I would say the answer to this question, and I don't like to answer questions like this, is with another question. Why wouldn't he play? Like, really, there's no good reason why not to play Deshaun Watson.
I think it depends on if the Browns think they can make the playoffs without Deshaun Watson. Because if they think that, then they have to prepare as if he's not going to play, period. Especially if you're looking at the front office in the NFL. You're looking at Goodell's statements, and he's basically out here saying, we've seen the evidence. The judge who made the ruling of the 6-game suspension, she was very clear about the evidence. She reinforced the evidence, multiple violations that he calls egregious, predatory behavior. It seems to me that if it's at all in Goodell's hands, which it seems like it is, even though he deferred to another designee, that Watson will at least have more games thrown onto that suspension, if not the entire year and some fines.
Yeah, that's a good question. I agree with you. I think they will win the appeal to some degree, but I don't think they're getting a year. And see, that's another reason why I need to play Watson in these 3 games. And Watson normally wouldn't play in the 4th preseason game, but damn sure I'm playing him. Heck yeah, I'm playing him. Yeah, and Brissett won't play by that time, most likely. You play Brissett these next 2, and you say, okay, Brissett, you've been around the league long enough. You don't need to play in this game, and we do need to keep you healthy. But then you play the other 3 guys, but I'd play Watson a ton in that 4th preseason game. Because I do think, like I said, the NFL is going to win the appeal in my estimation, but they're not going to win it to the degree they want. I don't think this is automatically all of a sudden going to 1 year. I think this is going to go to about 10 games. That's what I think happens. Okay. What do you guys, Casey, what do you think happens? Does it stay at 6? Does it go to what number would you think it goes to? Or is it a year?
Like, I want it to be a year. It's probably not, but I'm just going to stick with that.
So you think there's... But
I think 10's
like
more realistic than a year. But I don't think it's off the table now.
I find it hard to believe that the league, which has a reputation for law and order when it comes to their commissioner, is going to go backwards starting with this case. I mean, that just seems way out of control to me.
Well, what's backwards? So backwards is keeping it the 6 games. Everything else is forward.
Well, that's what I mean, right? So like 10 games, I think it's more likely than the 6, but I think 17 is more likely than any of it.
Really?
I think whatever Goodell wants, he's going to get. I buy that.
I'm not sure.
Especially with the statements he's making. He's making the case before the case starts.
Well, and that's he said this week, right? He said he gave reasons why, and this I think it should be a 1 year, right?
With
like
fines,
that's what he said.
Yes.
Was that surprise? Like that's kind of surprised me. He was talking about that case while it's under appeal.
Oh yeah. But again, another thing that informs me, at least on my opinion, that this guy not only knows what he wants, but believes steadfastly that this is the result that he's going to get.
Well, I'm not sure he should have said, like, I don't know if this is a case you play out in the media. I mean, the case was already played out in the media, and the judge came back with 6 games.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not a media-influenced game. It's not a public well, it is a little bit public perception. That's why the league is going so firm on it. And maybe that's really where Goodell's coming from with his statements. Like, listen, just so you know, this is my stance on it.
Yeah,
I think he should be out for a year.
Yeah.
So
he's
somebody else decided this, not the NFL, right?
Yeah, I think he's saying that on purpose.
It'll be interesting. I don't think he stays at 6. I think it goes to 10. I would say it goes to 10 to 12 games. 12 games is the max for me. And because once you go past 12, it's like, well, why didn't you suspend him for a year? I think 12, you can suspend him and then you come back with 5 games. And that's a little iffy, too. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it feels like once you're only 5 games left, what's the point? I mean, maybe playoffs, but
well,
it's
that's
not like
why. That's what Casey brings up, because this really could be like 8 games.
But the NFL,
did you make it? You're punishing the Browns too. I mean, that's 12 games. You have to get yourself in position to make the playoffs.
But you're telling me you think the NFL could hand down this penalty, or however it's going to go with the designing handing down the penalty, and they're considering playoffs? That doesn't sound like it's a thing.
You can't let them play in the playoffs. You can't set it up for that. If I'm the league, like they're not going to be in that position, I don't think. But you can't plan for that. Like you can't have a situation where he comes back, they make the playoffs, and then plays in the playoffs, where the most people care about the league.
I actually think that's a better situation than letting him come back in October. I just think the visuals on that is awful.
That's a good point, Casey. Because here's what you got to ask yourself: the question, if you're the league. I'm going to hold off on that because I want to give my initial thought when you said that. When you said that, I'm like, I don't know, because in my estimation, the public will say, let's just say he got 12 games. It went back to 12. I think the public says he served his time. He was out all last year, 12 games. That was a significant time lapse. Now, listen, he wasn't suspended last year, but he still sat out last year. He didn't play. He didn't get the fruits of being an NFL player, like in the spotlight and everything else. He has now not played for quite a long time, and he served this 12-game suspension, albeit got around that with the salary for 2022. but he'll probably get fined along with the 12-game suspension. I don't know. I feel like the public in general, almost over anything, will say he served his time. Like, I think we have this almost forgiveness, like, okay, you got punished, you served it, and now you come back. But that was my initial reaction. When Casey then says, that's the prime time of the season, I think the NFL has to ask themselves, and this is why they're probably stuck on a year, what the Browns are good. Like, the Browns have a good roster. Mm-hmm. Do you want this guy playing in the Super Bowl? Like, do you want that story?
Yeah, this guy's face going to Disney?
Like,
no.
Now, that story might not even play well in 2024 Super Bowl, but it sure as hell doesn't play that great in this year's Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it gets mentioned if it's like a next year thing, but not to the degree that, I mean, could you imagine the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl of just straight up Watson stories?
CBS is already making graphics, I heard.
Listen, I still think, I mean, what's the chances they go to the Super Bowl, especially if he sits out 12 games, to your point, Casey? But you have to at least ask yourself the question, where does this land from a PR standpoint? And don't fool yourself. This is a PR play as much as anything else. Like, it is a big deal, given the situation. And it's already been in the league circles and headlines for a long time. You know what does fascinate? I will say this about this whole situation with Watson. I think there are some guys that you can predict, well, maybe something goes wrong or awry, or you might not be as surprised. I think people have totally lost sight of this part of the story, that we are talking about Deshaun Watson potentially being a face in like the playoffs or a storyline in the playoffs, and it's in such a negative light. This guy was not ever viewed in a negative light.
No, not at all.
Like high school and college, I mean, he was like the guy, the leader, the perfect.
We were all rooting for him when he played for Clemson to win that title.
Yes. And like the whole Warwick Dunn part of the story where he lived in the Habitat for Humanity home that Warwick Dunn and his foundation builds, and him and his mom grew up there. I mean, all that. Like, that's what the story was on Deshaun Watson. And now it's this. Like, he's like arguably the most vilified player in the NFL right now.
Currently, yeah.
I mean, that's a crazy. I just think sometimes we have to reset. Like, this is not a guy that's like that's been in trouble before, or this isn't even like a Kareem Hunt. Like, Kareem Hunt had this thing go on, and then 3 years later he had, oh, look what else. Like, we wouldn't be stunned, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were like, okay, well, this guy.
He had a history, yeah.
Right. That is not the case with Deshaun Watson. I mean, Deshaun Watson is, up until 18 months ago, about as clean cut as a star athlete as we have.
I find it hard to believe.
And now he's vilified.
And maybe, you know.
And I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm just saying it's astounding.
I just think we're sitting here talking about these human beings, and none of them are infallible, but we only get to see a very specific part of their behavior most of the time on a field, doing great things. And then we end up, you know, putting these guys on a pedestal, as everybody does.
Yeah.
And you just kind of forget they're just the same people you grew up with and you've known your whole life. Like,
well, they are, but I don't have 24 counts against me like going to massage parlors.
No, you're right.
So they're actually worse.
But I think that's the land of extremes, right? You also don't have all these great accolades that Deshaun Watson had, all these other things.
Easy, maybe not.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, even some of our biggest iconic people are still human.
Well, listen, you work in the music industry. I mean, there's no more flawed industry than the music rock star.
But it was the sports industry that broke my heart, man. It was Ian Eagle, believe it or not. I looked up to this guy my whole life, man. And I'm not saying Ian Eagle's a bad guy. I'm just saying I listened to him my whole life. As a kid, he was calling Nets games, doing all kinds of sports teams that I love. I'm working for the Jaguars in 2007 or 8. We're traveling. I think it was in Tampa. I see Ian talking to a guy in the Jaguars organization who I know. So I'm like, oh, here's a shot. I'm just going to walk up, introduce myself, and feel like I'm on the same plane as one of my idols. I walk up there, I see a moment in the conversation that's a lull, and I walk up, and here's a guy who I idolized, and I thought was a good guy. I thought I knew about this guy. Of course, I only know what I've read. And I walk up and say, hey, Ian, man, my name is Aaron. I grew up in New York listening to you my whole life, man. I love what you do. Thank you so much for all that you do. And he just kind of looked at me like I was a piece of garbage, and he was like, yeah. And then he turned around and goes, anyway, and continues the conversation. And I'm like, this is a good example of, like, these heroes of mine, you forget that they're human beings, that this is a moment for me in my life that I will remember, even tell the story on the radio a decade later. For him, it's like Sunday afternoon where he's getting bothered again. And I think it really put in perspective for me, like, these are human beings, and some of them are real jerks. And Deshaun Watson's got this dark side, apparently, of all these allegations, which we believe are true.
Yeah, and what I also don't know is we keep you on the couch here for this moment. I mean,
It
this
really
is
was a
very
therapy,
therapeutic,
very
right?
cathartic.
Should
So
we
let
get
me
some-
tell you about
should
the
we get
time
some-
I met Ian Eagle.
Should we get some music? Because, well, what I say is that a one-off thing? Did you have a great experience when you met Ian Eagle,
was kidding.
Casey?
I was
Like, is that a one-off thing? Like, that's.
I mean, I've got a few of them.
No, I'm just saying that's what we don't know about our
Sure,
athletes
sure.
sometimes.
Or
And that's
like
why
what
I
kind of
also,
day, yeah.
like if you see them in the grocery store, well, they got a million things going on, or they're about to get divorced, and they've got lawyers calling them,
For
and they're
a guy
in a
like
bad mood, or
Deshaun,
whatever.
it might be a 24-off thing instead of a one-off.
That's different,
Yeah,
right?
very different.
And that's where it does go. But there wasn't even a one-off thing with Deshaun. That's what the crazy thing is. Before.
Well, prior to that, yeah.
It was this clean everything. I mean, unless there's more out there that I
mean,
didn't
it
read
just sounds
about,
like
but-
it's been going on for a while.
Yeah. And also it's odd. Like it's just an odd.
It's a weird
It's
kink.
kind of an odd fetish,
Yeah,
right?
it's a weird kink. Yeah.
Like a one-time deal, I could see like I could see that happening.
Or like something
24
normal.
times?
Yeah. Like Casey showering in pitch black, crying to himself all the time. That's like a normal thing that Casey does. But like, he's not doing weird stuff.
Well, that's weird enough. We'll be back. ESPN 690 as Aaron gets off the couch now and gets a Celsius.
We'll get right
in
back on
commercial
that
break.
couch, I'm telling you.
We'll be back.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Happy back to school for much of Northeast Florida. Mostly sunny today and hot with highs in the afternoon in the middle 90s with a few showers and thunderstorms. A few of them can linger even into the evening hours, but then tonight, gradual clearing skies with lows in the lower 70s. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedrick, and that's your Action News Jack's first alert forecast.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero interest financing with nothing down.
Honey, I'm home.
Don't honey me. I'm still mad at you.
I know, and I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
You and those cheap do-it-yourself cameras. I told you, call Safe Touch, but no, you tried to save a buck. So when those two thieves broke Safe Touch cameras would have alerted the thieves that they were being recorded, and you and I would have been notified with actual video on our smartphones. The Safe Touch two-way communicator would have already had the emergency authorities on the way.
I know we really need the Safe Touch 5-star security and surveillance system. I'll call today.
I already did. Safe Touch is installing our new 5-star surveillance system in the morning.
Every family needs the Safe Touch security and surveillance system. Call now and get a free demonstration. 888-723-8682 or online at safetouch.com. Dramatization of actual event. EF 0000233. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Keith Gurr, president of America Window Products. We are Jacksonville's oldest replacement window company. We have been providing excellent service for over 38 years and still have an A+ rating. At America Window Products, we have helped over 36,000 homeowners, and we don't use subcontractors. Right now, we're offering a free installation on 6 or more windows, as well as a free energy package. Go to AmericanWindowProducts.com and click for an estimate. That's AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, we are the window professionals.
Walk into 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center, and it doesn't feel like you're going to the doctor's. Beautiful artwork of Jacksonville on the south side location, a laid-back atmosphere, and Rep Butler and his staff are really fun to talk to, and they are there to help you out. First-time appointments and adjustments, just $39 and maybe less pending your insurance. 904 Chiropractic and Injury Center. 3 locations, south side, St. Augustine, and the west side. Look them up at 904chiro.com. 3 locations, 904chiro.com.
UFP Folkestone, the #1 site-built construction plant in Georgia, is now hiring for multiple departments. We've been around since 2016, and we're located in, you guessed it, Folkestone, Georgia. Around here, we're more than just coworkers. We're like family, and we're part of an international family of companies with a long history of promoting from within. So if you like to work hard and get rewarded for it, this is the place for you. Check out our openings at ufpi.com/careers.
If you've been thinking about a new Toyota, then stop thinking and start buying during the national sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. And check this out. Arlington's got 500 new Toyotas available, and that makes now the perfect time to slip into a new ride. Plus, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and a lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. So stop thinking and start buying. Even better, start your engine. It's the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
I hate the struggle of tough, greasy messes on my stovetop. So I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
When I'm frustrated with stubborn bathtub soap scum, I just freak, wipe, and I'm done.
Mr. Clean Clean Freak delivers an innovative cleaning experience with a powerful deep cleaning mist that starts working on contact to break down tough messes in seconds.
Just freak,
wipe,
done.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Sertoma Club of St. Augustine is set up to help those less fortunate without a complicated qualification process in order to get them the assistance they deserve in an expeditious manner. The type of assistance that they have given others ranges in a variety of ways, everywhere from wheelchair ramps to home repairs to helping with medical bills. Sertoma of St. Augustine, a hand up and not a hand out. Learn more and how you can help at staugustinesertoma.org.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
I am. We've seen a lot here in practice, but now put the, get under the lights and roar the crowd and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a different feel, and that's why you do it, right? You kind of practice for all those scenarios, and he's one of the guys we want to see.
Who's he talking about there?
ETN.
ETN. I will say I'm excited to see ETN play.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I'm more excited to see, all the variety they throw with him. I really think he's going to be one of these guys who's going to be all over the field for that team.
I got one for you guys real quick. We'll get back to I want to do more Jags football at 5 coming up, but I got to get to Cam Smith in a moment. But quickly, who are you more excited to see on Friday night? Trevor Lawrence or ETN?
That's a good question. Are Trevor's options going to be out there with him?
I think all of them, other than James Robinson.
Trevor Lawrence, then. I want to see.
I still think Kirk's a little bit going to be questionable. Don't be surprised, but we'll see.
I mean, even if he's got, 3 of his top 5 options out there, if he's got Ingram out there, if he's got Zay out there, if he's got, other guys on the team who are going to be getting significant time, I'd like to see with my own eyes the progress that Trevor's made because I haven't been down at camp. I'm just seeing the highlight videos. But I'm excited to see ETN. I just don't think I'm going to see what I want to see from that until the season starts.
Casey?
Trevor.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you guys.
They're not going to do anything with ETN.
Listen, I get it.
I don't need to see him jog out there. Trevor's going to throw the ball. ETN, if he runs, it's not going to be the explosion. It's not going to be the trick stuff that they're going to do with him. He's going to run it up the middle. He's going to get 2 yards, and it's going to be exciting. And if he gets up, we're all going to be excited. Trevor's going to let one go, I almost have a feeling.
But what if he runs for 24 yards? So that's my point. What if he runs on a screenplay and we can finally run a screen?
Come on, dude. It's the Jags.
That would be exciting.
If they figured out how to run a screen, they're sure as heck not going to show it in the preseason.
But wouldn't it be more exciting on like a Zay Jones 43-yard bomb?
Yes, it'd be very exciting.
I'm just going to answer this with as much truthfulness that's in my soul right now.
All right.
And I love Trevor.
Truth or truth?
And I think Trevor is going to be good. I'm more excited to watch ETN play.
Just because you feel like you know what you got.
I feel like I know more of what to expect from Trevor. I don't know what I'm going to see out of ETN. And again, Casey, like, I get your point. You're not going to see the full throttle offense, but you might see a play or two, because we've even get a little excited about it in practice. Like, you can see the speed. You can see the burst. And so do we get a glimpse of that on a 15, 18-yard play? Like, seriously, if they throw a screen to him, I'm going to get out of my seat in the press box.
You want to make a screen bet?
What's the screen bet look like?
I don't know. My man Matt just suggested it on YouTube.
All right.
Like what? If they run a screen?
Trevor and Travis.
So just a simple yes or no? Will they run it?
Yeah, I assume you're on yes and I'm on no.
Yeah, like I do. I think that's a safe play in this setting to get him in open space and let him do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can manufacture it on a screenplay. You can't really manufacture it on a run play. You just got to hope that a hole opens up.
Blown up on a screenplay.
You can or can't.
You can.
Yeah, but not often. I mean, it's not a risky play. I mean, it's kind of more risky for the offensive line, so are they willing to do that? But yeah, I would say yes. So yeah, let's make the bet. Bucket. Right. Bet bucket. The bet bucket's out. I'm not doing $20, but
it's going to cost you $40 if you do.
Let's just do a quick, an easy $5 bet on it.
All right.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
$5 bet, but you pay double if it's a 25 plus
deal.
Wow.
That's fine.
That's a good deal for Casey. Hey, Delphonic's got a question for you, Brent. He wants to know if you think Trevor looks like he got a little bit bigger. He says he hasn't bulked up a lot, but he thinks he looks a little bit bigger. What do you think?
Honestly, I have done that before where I uncomfortably check out these guys' bodies in camp. And I don't see that in Trevor.
All right.
I don't see anything different. I can't tell if he cut his hair shorter. I can't tell if he got more of a tan this summer like I did this morning.
Do you think it's necessary he bulk up to have a good season? I don't really think
he people talked about that, but he even said early on, I think it was in the spring or when we broke for camp, he's like, nah, like I'm pretty good with where I'm playing at. I'll probably be at X amount of pounds and then lose a couple in camp. And
because a lot of these guys will do that.
They do that.
Season 1 to season 2. Zach Wilson, one of them.
Yeah, a lot of them will do it. Yeah. But I don't think, because he didn't want to lose speed, and I think he felt durable enough, quite frankly. Like, I don't feel like he's not going to be the 240-pound quarterback, but I don't think he feels like he needs to. And so he's not doing anything crazy with the weight. Maybe he did a couple pounds. You can see, like, I can't tell. I just don't see it. I think he looks exactly the same as the guy. I would just say what we've talked about a lot is he's throwing the football better.
Yep.
And a lot of that is because of his preparation in the offseason. He didn't have the off-season surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. So he's doing a lot of things. Like, he's just more in a routine than he was. He even talked about, and this is something I've talked about all the time, coming off the draft, it was a long year, like just from the fatigue of that and all the interviews and the hype of being the number 1 overall pick. Like, he didn't have to deal with any of that this time around. All right, news just in. Deshaun Watson is going to start Friday night.
Wow.
Not only is he going to play,
he's up first,
but he's going to start.
What a Browns decision to make.
I think it's stupid to start him.
Of course it's dumb. Stupid Cleveland.
Like, then you're gonna put in Brissett with the backups. What good is that?
What's the point?
Like, what is that? Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to read into that quickly. Like, here's the deal. They are planning on what I said. You have to plan like Stefanski is planning on a 6-game suspension, which means you're going to have this guy for 11 games, and he's the guy you want to be ready by the bulk of the season.
But just bear with me for a second, because I'm not looking at the schedule. I don't know who they have in their first 6 games. But, like, hypothetically, knowing what we know about Jacoby Brissett, let's just say they end up, I guess if the Browns go 3-3, it's not like the season is lost. But at 2-4, 1-5 in your first 6, like Watson or not.
Yeah, they play nobody. They're not going 1-5. Like, you could play quarterback for him, and they wouldn't be 1-5 with that
Get
schedule.
Stefanski on the phone. I bet it pays more than this.
It does.
Definitely
it pays.
does.
Just pays.
At all. I can't believe that.
So you guys are stunned by that. I'm not as surprised by that.
Insanity.
I'm surprised he's starting.
I
don't
mean,
get
I'm
that
not saying I'm not mildly surprised, but I'm not stunned.
They feel Brissett's ready? Brand new team, new
Brissett's
playbook.
a veteran guy. I mean, how many years has Brissett played?
Yeah, but it's a new team.
It's 5 years. It's not like he's had this long 15-year career. 16 to 21.
I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I'm just surprised. I'll be surprised what they do after.
Buddy.
Like next, what do you mean? Like right after? Like if Brissett comes in?
If Brissett comes in, I will have some serious, I will see if I can get into the post-game presser with their coach.
And that's a fair question, right? I think
that's just
that is.
stupid.
I think that would be a fair curiosity.
Because then you might literally get him hurt if you take out your offensive line. Then you got Dobbs.
Look, 5 years for Brissett, right? 60 games, 37 starts total. Get this guy in there.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys. Like, I don't see the difference in playing Watson the second and third quarter than starting.
Yeah, like, what are you protecting?
Because what you're doing, the reason you're playing Watson is to, what we have said, shake the rust. Plan on as if he's your guy. But I would say that doesn't matter if he's with the first or second team at that point. Right?
No, if you're just shaking rust. I mean, he might be running for his life with that second team, but still.
That's fine.
Let him ice up. He's got weeks to go.
So anyway, I think it's pretty fascinating.
Very Browns.
Browns gonna Browns.
Very Browns.
Yeah, I don't know if it deserves that kind of criticism.
Well, it just got it.
Well, it doesn't until we see what they do. If Brissett doesn't play at all, then it's fine.
Yeah, so
if they bring in Brissett with the backups, knowing he's a starting quarterback, you're an idiot. There's no other way to put it.
Because keep in mind, Casey and others, and I don't follow the Browns closely enough to know like what they did last year and everything else, but we're talking about like the LA Rams, even with a guy like Goff when he was the quarterback, didn't play him the whole preseason. And Goff isn't in any great shakes now.
No.
Right? And so they didn't play him. So depending your philosophy, like they might, Casey, to your point, they might just say, hey, we're playing Brissett, the guy that we know we need for the first 6 weeks, just one game. We're going to play him this one game. So I think you bring up the best question, Casey. Like who's next? Because if you're flip-flopping the guys, that doesn't really add up.
Not at all.
I think the way this plan is set, he's starting. You're going to play Rosen. You're going to play Dobbs. You're going to sit Brissett. And you're going to play Brissett the next time around. And then Deshaun will come in for the second half of that game or whatever it is.
And then if that case, I'd be like, you know what? Browns, they didn't Brown.
Well,
because that makes sense.
I mean, I'm willing to concede it's a better plan than bringing in Brissett behind Watson in a preseason game. But to the point that I'm trying to make here, like, it's not like the guy has been on the team for a few years. It's not like he's had these coaches, this playbook, these receivers, this line. Like, every rep right now is important to this team who's trying to make the play. This is a playoff window team this year. Like, he needs the reps.
So you think they should bring him in after Deshaun if they take out their starters?
No.
All right.
I think Brissett needs to play with the ones and then figure it out afterwards. I don't even think Watson should be out there in the preseason. I know you guys disagree with me, but I just don't see the point, especially when you don't know what you have behind Brissett.
By the way, welcome to the biggest story in the NFL on Friday night right here in Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, if you're listening and you have nothing to do, I'd go to the game. Because at the bare minimum, you're going to see something.
Well, I think first of all, I'll sell some tickets right now if you want. I mean, when the idea that ETN is playing, to go back to my other question, I think we thought Trevor was going to play. ETN, that he is playing, I still need to be like, oh, wow, he's playing. I mean, he got hurt in the preseason last year. Were you going to, like, I'm not surprised he's playing, but it's still like, wow, he's playing. We're going to see him for the first time in a calendar year. Like, same thing with Deshaun, quite frankly. Like, we're going to see him for the first time in a calendar year. Like, these guys are potential stars of the league. And hopefully ETN's a star for the Jags. Deshaun is a star quarterback, even with all the problems going on. And that takes center stage to me, like, more than, like, I knew Trevor was going to play. I anticipated him playing. But now that we know ETN's playing, we know Deshaun's playing, I mean, and throw Trevor in the mix. I mean, you got Trevor Lawrence, gets Deshaun Watson, you got two Clemson quarterbacks.
Pretty high talent levels.
From a preseason standpoint, this first quarter will be as more eyeballs on it around the NFL than maybe has ever witnessed a preseason game for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, there's a lot of reporters that are now booking flights to Jacksonville right now.
Now, you may not see anything exciting.
No, you might not. I mean, that's the nature of the preseason.
But you'll see it.
But, like, is that an overstatement?
I can't think of another preseason game
Probably
that had
not.
this much attraction to it.
Unless, like, the Broncos played the Colts that year or Tampa never played New England, but you see what I'm doing.
Well, and I'm not talking about the history of in the NFL. I'm saying for the Jacksonville Jaguars franchise, there will be more eyes on this first quarter around the football league, the National Football League, than any preseason game outside of the Hall of Fame game when it was the only thing in town, you know? But there are other games going on Friday. Like, everybody's playing this week. And this is going to be, I think, the number one story. Now, Deshaun Watson's going to be the number one story. But, oh, by the way, he's playing Trevor Lawrence, who succeeded him at Clemson. You know, like, you got all those storylines. And Trevor's a national guy. Like, he's a big-name guy in the NFL. And then you got the debut of ETN again here in 2022. And Peterson, a Lombardi winning. I mean, it's a big story in Jacksonville on Friday. I'm just telling you, don't sleep on that. I don't think I'm overstating that. This is about as big of an opening 15 minutes of action here in Jacksonville that we've seen maybe ever. So we talk more about it. That's the big news. Deshaun Watson gets a start for the Cleveland Browns on Friday. That game on Fox 30, by the way. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 6:30. And we'll be there all afternoon with Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. We'll be right back. Should we cancel Cam? That's the question on ESPN 690. For all the support on the Dream 18 cards. We sold out of Dream 18 cards, and we're raising more funds for local charities through the Dream 18. And coming up next, it's a Dream 18 golf tournament, September 19th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Registration is now open. We'd love you to be a part of it. Buy a foursome, or maybe just play on an individual basis. Maybe it's a tee sign. Get your company involved. Here's how you register. Action Sports Shacks, dream18.com. September 19th at the Golf Club of Southampton. Playing our Dream 18, Action Sports Shacks, dream18.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
It's where I take my family to play golf, and you can take yours as well. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the home of the Action Sports Shacks Dream 18, and it can be your golf destination. Enjoy your golf experience by calling 287-PLAY, 287-PLAY. Play some golf, or maybe practice some golf at one of the newest facilities in the area. Grab some lunch or dinner, too. Southampton has it all. 287-PLAY for tee times and more. The Golf Club at Southampton, the home of the Dream 18. My home course. Make it your home course, too.
Hey, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. That summer heat's right around the corner, and so are those high energy bills. Don't just sweat it out, do something about it. Call Koala Insulation today for your free evaluation. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
Best Bet St. Augustine is hiring with competitive pay. Work at St. Augustine's newest attraction that'll be opening soon. Best Bet St. Augustine is hiring line cooks, servers, chip runners, mutual tellers, landscape workers, porters, maintenance workers, and vault helpers. No experience is required. You must be 18 years or older to apply. Apply online at bestbetjacks.com or interview in person at Best Bet St. Augustine, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Best Bet St. Augustine, 800 Marketplace Drive, right off exit 311 on I-95.
On your heart, get set, go. Join us September 10th at the Jacksonville Fairgrounds for the First Coast Heart Walk. Join the mission to stop the #1 killer of men and women in the U.S. and walk towards a healthier life. Register now at firstcoastheartwalk.org.
Hi, I'm Mandy Moore. Stand Up to Cancer is closer than ever before to achieving its mission to make every cancer patient into a long-term survivor. To learn more and get Advantage miles, go to standuptocancer.org/American Airlines.
5X480.
Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you get the Clement Horizon clean last night? I don't want another barnacle incident. Where's Ivan?
Kiki's head of docking operations just jumped ship.
What do you mean he's sailing around the world?
She needs a new marina manager to help keep her head above water.
Yeah, the tide's perfect, but we are slammed.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $33.99. Try Syntec today, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with the ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. Hey, it's a Wellness Wednesday at iCryo in St. Johns County. How about this? $29 for lifestyle services. That is like the cryotherapy chamber. That's red light therapy. That is compression and more. Sauna in there too. So Wellness Wednesday, it's $29 for a lifestyle service. That's $10 off lifestyle service. So you can go try it out, check it out. Wellness Wednesday, a busy day down there at iCryo, but be one of the folks that go visit at the pavilion at Durbin Park. 20% off IVs and vitamin shots. Yeah, they do it all. They're body sculpting as well at iCryo in St. Johns County. And get ready for down the road. There will be a back-to-school bash later this month. So more information to follow on that front. Go where we go. iCryo, St. Johns County Pavilion at Durbin Park. Take care of your body. Elevate your lifestyle at iCryo in St. Johns County. Brent Martineau, along with Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz. All right, guys. This, to me, is the biggest one. What am I talking about?
Probably not Cam Robinson.
Nope.
Got another Cam. Yeah, it's a different Cam.
Of all the players that have left, in case he has varying opinions, like, I mean, we do about who's good and who's like Taylor Gooch, I don't care that he's gone, right? Whatever. He's a good player, great. Who cares? Nobody knows who he is. He's trying to petition to get in the FedEx Cups. Too bad. You know, we don't care. Swafford, who cares if you're playing? Like, nobody cares. Cam Smith, one, is a very good golfer. Is he the best golfer they have now, Casey?
Yeah.
So,
unquestionable.
Well, especially this year. I mean, he might be the best golfer in the world this year outside of Scotty Scheffler. Mm-hmm. And so they get a really, 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 really good player, like having a really, 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 really good year. It's bigger than that. I don't care about the golf. Like, listen, sooner you're going to get some good golfers over there. You're going to go chase the money. Understand. They haven't really got a ton of good golfers, in my opinion. They've got guys that are their best years are behind them.
They got some names, though.
And they have the big name power to some like Phil Mickelson and others. But this is a really bona fide good golfer, and they'll have others that follow suit, is my guess, because they're paying such an enormous amount of money. The biggest problem with Cam is he is a guy that moved to the Jacksonville area because of the PGA Tour's headquarters here, because of their influence on TPC Sawgrass, because they built a big practice facility for the players. That's why we have all these guys that live here, because they want to practice out of TPC Sawgrass and the stadium course. They ramped up that practice facility so more guys would move here. A lot of them live down in Jupiter, a lot in St. Simon's Island. What do they all have in common? They all have big-time practice facilities for these guys that they can feel is their own. And that's why Cam Smith moved here. So that's a big part of it, because now he's 20 minutes, not even 10 minutes down the road from the PGA Tour headquarters.
Can't touch it.
And he won't be able to go practice over there anymore.
Yeah.
But he's basically flipping them off and saying, hey, we're going over here. Now, The other part of it is, and maybe even the bigger part, at least for the moment, in the immediate, is that Cam Smith holds the most valuable trophy that the PGA Tour has. Like the PGA Tour, their staple event is the Players' Championship. It's not a major, but it's the staple event of the PGA Tour. They want it to be that way. It's the Players' event. He holds the trophy. He won the damn thing. It was a great story 5 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. It ain't a great story anymore.
Not for the PGA, no.
It's almost like their worst nightmare. I think this is like the biggest one yet because of those ancillary things. Now, do I hate Cam Smith? I don't know Cam Smith that well, but I don't hate him. I'm not canceling Cam. I understand in a way, take the money away. He probably grew up idolizing Greg Norman. He's an Australian player. So I hate Greg Norman, but he loves him, and I understand that. And so will he go follow suit? Was that a lure for him? It might have been. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the Australian players do that because of Greg Norman and the influence he had on the game. And I think there's going to be 3 live events down under coming up next year.
It's a draw.
So that is a draw. So like I don't fault him as much for that. I don't love the guys that these guys are taking the money and running all that stuff. Like I really don't. But I'm just telling you, this is by far the biggest one. And you can forget the dollars and the accolades. It's got everything to do with the location of Cam, the rising star nature of him holding the Goldman Trophy.
And maybe the most prestigious one in the world with the Open. I know that's not a PGA thing, but he still has that too.
So this is a big blow. This is a big blow for the PGA Tour, I think. And I'm not quite sure you could have a bigger one. I mean, I don't think there's anybody bigger right now, like Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy going, but I don't think there's a threat of those guys going.
But if Rory were to go, that would be the ultimate slap.
Casey, who else could
Hideki.
Well, yeah, you bring up Hideki because of the global nature of Hideki. I'm starting to wonder a little
Colin
bit.
Morikawa.
Is Hideki falling off the map a little bit?
I mean, he's not winning multiple times as he did last year, so sort of. I mean, he's still there. He's still going to compete. I guarantee you he's going to have a good 3 weeks coming up because the good players perform in the playoffs, which is now for the PGA Tour, if you were wondering and you didn't know. So, yeah, I don't think he's falling off. I just think it's hard to repeat a year that he had last year. Like Scotty Scheffler's that guy this year, you know?
Does this one bother you, Cam Smith?
Brent, none of them bother me.
Yeah, you're not bothered by LIV. You kind of like this, right?
I mean, I think it's disappointing for the PGA Tour and all the reasons you said. I like Cam Smith. I'm a fan of the guy. I think he's good for wherever he plays, so that makes him even more attractive to LIV. But I'm not going to sit here and bash him. I think your points are valid. He's an international guy. The Jacksonville part of it does suck, but I think they go after the international flavor to a point. He's one of them. Mark Leishman apparently is going to go with him. Don't sleep on that one. Mark Leishman's not the player Cam Smith is, but Mark
Quietly
Leishman's
a very good player.
Yeah. So I think that's a good couple of people to go after for LIV, but I don't despise the LIV stuff as much as you do.
Yeah, listen, people have said this all last night on Twitter again because I'm like, screw it. He's not a local guy to me anymore. Get out of here.
Get out.
He's not.
Come on, man.
No, he's not. No. We celebrate these guys as local guys.
Sure, because he chose to be here.
Because he chose to be here, and because it's the PGA Tour. The
But he's
PGA
still
Tour's in
choosing
our
to be
backyard.
here.
Nah, screw that, man.
Why do you care why he came?
I don't care if he goes to Taco Lou. I don't care. He's, to me, in my world, local. We like to say, hey, this guy's got local ties to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Cam Smith's nothing anymore.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Nothing. I don't care about Cam.
I don't get it.
Now, I don't hate Cam. I'm just saying I don't care. Now, and I'll also tell you this. We never got a relationship with Cam. We asked Cam to come on our Dream 18 show.
We did.
We couldn't get him.
Well, then in that case, get out.
Listen, this is a guy that won the Players. He's a local guy, and we couldn't even get the time of day with him. It wasn't even like, yeah, maybe, blah, blah, blah. We gave him a 3-month window. No go. I know for a fact one of the folks in town asked on behalf of the media to get him after the Open Championship.
Nothing.
Couldn't get him, right? So, he hasn't
tried.
Really tried to be a local guy, say like a Furyk or a Russell Knox or those guys like David Lingmerth, all these guys that came in from the outside, and over the years we treat them like local. So he never got to that stage anyway. Doesn't mean I hate him, but I'm not considering him a local guy anymore. He flipped the bird at the local entity.
But he was doing it to
make his career.
He was doing it when he was still trying to be in the PGA.
I'll tell you what we learned today. Aaron, I know you want to start that in the future. Here's what I learned today. We're never getting Ian Eagle, we're never getting Cam Smith, and we're never getting Greg Norman on the show.
Yeah, those guys
after
will
what
never
we've
talk
said
to
about him in the last hour.
That's
what
fine.
Brent has
I
said
don't
about
care.
Greg Norman.
He doesn't like Greg.
No.
We were never getting Greg, trust me.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Why do we like Cam Smith?
Personality.
No, we like him because he feels like the everyday guy, right?
I mean, yeah, it goes with the personality.
He felt like the guy that wouldn't jump for the money.
I think you're putting that on top
Actually,
of it
I
a
will
little
agree with
bit.
you because the one thing that sticks with me with Cam Smith, he won whichever one he won first, not the play. He won something else before that. And he said, they asked him, what are you going to do with the money? He said, I don't know. I don't need it. I'm going to buy more fishing equipment.
Yeah.
And that stuff. Oh, Sony.
But
I think
obviously
he won
that is for pretend, right? They threw $100 million at this guy, and he was like, "Yes, sir. Can I have another?"
Now, I will say that this guy might win the FedEx Cup, and he's going to get a $75 million raise for winning the most prestigious thing on the PGA Tour. They're going to give him $75
This is why I don't
million
get Brent with the having a problem with the money thing. Like, it's so much.
No, it's what the money says, man. I mean, they built their careers here, and they're basically being like, nope, go to jump there instead, even though it's not better. It's not better golf. It's not better anything. It's just more money.
I've spent
it doesn't sit
19.
right.
I've spent 19 years in this company. Let one of these broadcast companies call me up and triple my pay. I'm out.
I don't think that's totally true. If it's a crappy situation, it's not. You're not going to automatically go.
I'm thinking about it.
All he has to do is come out and say, "Listen, I love Greg Norman. I want to go support what Greg Norman's doing." And then you know what? I'm okay with it.
You feel better about it.
I feel better about it.
And maybe he will. He
Maybe
hasn't
he will.
commented on it yet.
Ah, yeah, of course. Why hide it? Everybody knows you're going.
I wouldn't say
because he
anything
wants
either.
to play and get $75 million first, and then say he's going.
He's got to win. But you handle it how you got to handle it.
Football at 5 coming up next.
hate these guys.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Happy anniversary to them. Put their experience to work for you. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. I've had mine for a handful of years now. Absolutely love it at the house. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Call today and save hundreds, even thousands on a complete home solution for city and well water. Financing available with approved credit. And because the professionals at CGC Water are committed to being your go-to water experts, you can trust their master plumber with all your plumbing needs as well. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Right now you can take advantage of the $75 drain cleaning special. Call for details. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
If you want to hit the road this summer in a fuel-efficient ride that's just right for the journey ahead, then listen up, because you need to rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. If you've tried to rent lately, then you know rental companies are short on inventory, but not our friends over at Arlington Toyota Rent-A-Car. Arlington has a whole lot of rental stock ready to rent at a great price. Plus, renting a Toyota is the best way to try it before you buy it. Arlington's even stocking 2022 models to rent. Just go to arlington.com, reserve your rental, and discover just how good Toyota Rent-A-Car can be.
Hey, did your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatorsparking.com to reserve your spot today.
Join Jacksonville Women's Business Center on September 15th as a life of education, service, and advocacy will be recognized to honor Dr. Johnetta B. Cole for her Global Athena Leadership Award. Dr. Cole will be recognized and honored at an event at the Adam W. Hebert University Center at UNF on September 15th at 11 a.m. Athena founder Martha Mayhood-Mertz will be in attendance and participate in a conversation with the honoree. Register now at jaxwbc.com or call 904-366-6640.
Hi, this is Keith Gurr, president of American Window Products. We are Jacksonville's oldest replacement window company. We have been providing excellent service for over 38 years and still have an A+ rating. At American Window Products, we have helped over 36,000 homeowners, and we don't use subcontractors. Right now, we're offering a free installation on 6 or more windows, as well as a free energy package. Go to AmericanWindowProducts.com and click for an estimate. That's AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, we are the window professionals.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching. But a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds have the bacony crunch you crave in a protein-packed, low-carb snack. They're the pork rind that tastes best for just about any event. Southern Recipe pork rinds are also low-sugar, gluten-free, and naturally loaded in collagen, so it's a no-brainer. Get through the daily grind with Southern Recipe pork rinds at southernrecipe.com today.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Available in the snack aisle at your local Tractor Supply Company today.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau.
Well, for him, it's important, but also for the offense, right? I mean, it's a new scheme. You got new faces, new people out there that he's working with, and new center. So just seeing all of it put together, and just want to have some crisp plays, some good execution, and try to score a few points and get them out.
That'd be nice. A few points.
Quick 14, get them off the field.
Oh, we'd get so excited.
Could you imagine?
Can I put a bow on the LIV coverage real quick? Can you read what Faraday said?
Yeah, sure. So David Faraday the other night was at an event with a few of PGA broadcasters. Obviously, he's been a PGA broadcaster, but he just left NBC, signed with LIV Golf, and someone there at the event asked him why he left. And he said very plainly, this is why you got to love the guy. He goes, money. People don't talk about it. They say, well, it's here to grow the game. Bull blank. A lot of money, which, refreshing to hear like a truth, right? He went on to say,
I think that's why a lot of people have a problem with this right now is because Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, all these players have had an opportunity to say, listen, it's an enormous amount of money.
Yeah.
We're going for the money.
Yes.
And they kind of have said it,
but
they
embarrassed.
won't just say it.
They won't commit.
Say it then.
They're embarrassed.
Just say it.
Faraday went on to say a few more things, which I kind of love that he's saying out loud. He goes, also, an opportunity to be myself again. It's become more and more difficult, especially in sports broadcasting, to have any kind of character. Charles Barkley can say pretty much anything he wants because, that's just Charles, and it is just Charles. But I've become more and more guarded over the last few years. People waiting around every corner to be offended by something. Forget those people. He didn't say forget. He might have used more colorful language. But forget those people. Our lives are being shaped by small groups of mean-spirited people who have no sense of humor, and we're in danger of losing our national sense of humor because of this. Here's a guy speaking plainly and openly about what he believes, following his heart. You can't begrudge this guy that stuff.
Yeah, I think Faraday, again, what's Faraday's market now versus what it was 5-7 years ago? It's not nearly as high. Like Faraday was a hot thing, like super hot, probably more like 10 years ago. But the last few years, it's like, does the TV show even exist?
It does.
It does still exist?
Maybe not.
Maybe
that's
not. Where we're at with Faraday. And I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying it's so typical of what LIV is. Get the old guy with a name that can't make it anymore. Of course, for that guy, like, holy cow, I never thought I'd make $3 million again a year. Here I am, making 12.
Yeah, he's making more than 3.
You know?
But the thing with Faraday is, like, he's still a funny person, even if he's not as relevant as he was.
I
Like,
know, but relevance is king. I mean,
well, until he gets reborn, which I believe is going to happen.
Reborn
for
in
him.
front of what, 50,000 people on YouTube? Like,
All right,
that's
but that's all you need these
I
days.
got kid opening up a toy that gets more stuff than that.
That's a good video. Go ahead, Casey.
No, like, we're not going to keep doing that. Like, the last event they had like 250 people, 1,000 people on YouTube. We saw that there were screenshots of it. You can see it.
Preach.
We're not going to say there's 50,000 because it's not right.
So 250, is that their big number so far?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, in total?
Yeah, last event. It has continued to grow, but I think that was the big number last time, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
honestly,
the PGA event was bad. Like, it was a bad field. It wasn't a bad event. It was a bad field.
Yeah.
So that helped, but we're not going to do that.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can turn people onto that. Can they make it cool enough for the kid that knows how to find YouTube or for the younger person that knows how to find YouTube or the whatever? Well, you don't think that's a valid thing? Like,
No, I hate the Rays. This idiot, bro. We're in extra innings. Ground ball to first. He decides to go. He's the ghost runner.
slamming the table over there.
Gets canned at third. What a bum. Bro.
I thought he was talking about my point.
Casey Meter just went to a negative 17.
All because of the Rays.
I hate your
Somebody
point,
help.
but I hate this even more.
Well, and I do think the YouTube. I think eventually, actually, LIV will find a TV partner.
Oh, yeah.
At some
should.
point.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I
almost
mean, heck,
better
they're
off
already
not.
spending enough money. Why not?
I'm sure they're in
Start your
negotiations
own
right
network.
now. I mean,
I would do that.
I have not watched one hole.
I have.
Seriously, I haven't watched one. Now Ty has, but I haven't watched one hole.
I have.
I've like
they're also not necessarily target. I'm sure they'd like you watching, but they're targeting a younger crowd.
Like, if Ty's watching, they're winning, Brent. Not winning,
well, he's
but
not
they're
watching religiously. You watch it like when it first debuted.
It's still new,
but to try it out. But I didn't even do that. And yeah, we'll see. Like, I don't know if that. I think TV's still king in that respect. Like,
But if you're not on TV, you can do whatever you want.
well, that's true. And by the way,
think
you can
that's a
go back
plus.
and watch, and you don't have to see. Like, you don't have to set the DVR. It's already doing it itself in a way.
It's new,
Listen, I
exciting,
hate
new
LIV.
formats. It's not sleepy. And by the way,
I hate them.
If old people hate, no offense, Brent, if old people hate them, young people love them. Period.
Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
And just to kind of clarify, no way they're going to get thrown out again. He got thrown out stealing. 2 guys thrown out on the bases in extra innings. I hate this team. These guys suck. I hate them all. I will still be a fan of Cam Smith. I know that will make you mad. And I'll probably watch him on LIV.
This is like, that was your best like Vin Scully impression right there.
Vin Scully.
Like you were telling a story about the Rays getting stolen and then going right back to Cam. I mean,
Well,
that's
like
like Vin is beautiful about that, right?
Vin
Tell a story
screaming.
and say ball outside.
You're freaking out.
I hate these
It's
people.
the Rays. You never seen them play baseball before?
How do you get 2 guys thrown out on the bases in extra innings?
Tampa gonna Tampa, bro.
All right, I guess since you're talking baseball, we got to bring up the one topic real quick. I know it's football 5. I'm going to get to Trevor Lawrence because Jordan DeLugo tweeted out his numbers. I want to see if these mean anything to you. But I don't even know who it is. Was the Pirates guy?
Rodolfo Castro.
Yeah,
He is playing baseball in the big leagues with a phone in his pocket, and it comes flying out as he slides into third base. I mean, what are we doing, younger generation?
It's pretty funny to me.
He heard Kim K was single. He's waiting for that DM.
He's waiting that DM. Man, you want to talk about a generation can't put down their phones. This guy's sliding into third. His iPhone 14 popping out.
How are you?
Wonder if he's live streaming.
I wonder, I was going to say, do you think like Apple paid for that?
Oh, yeah. I would have
would be
guessed
cool.
that back in the day.
That would be a cool wrinkle of the Apple TV.
You could
That'd be
very,
really good, right?
very clearly
Everybody's
see
mic'd up.
it is an iPhone. You could very clearly see
If
it.
Kim K was single and you had the chance to slide into the DMs, you'd be doing it too.
Now, it's not like this kid is like a real major leaguer. I think he's up for like a little cup of coffee. Do you think this hastens his return to the minors?
He's real.
He's real. He plays for Pittsburgh.
He is a lot more real than Elliott Fry. There's no doubt.
I mean, I'm not saying he's not real, just that he's probably not long for the majors.
It's the Pirates.
What's the reaction been to this? Like, are you serious? Like, hard to believe it? Is that a thing?
Like, I've only heard, oh, wow, I can't believe this, but I have heard a couple of takes, which I'm like, like, what if he's waiting on an emergency phone call? What if he's got a wife in labor or like
What's he going to do? Like, while he's rounding second base, pick it up?
Just keep running.
Keep running.
Keep going. The
all the way
hospital's
into
that
the
way.
dugout, yeah.
You know what hit me? First of all, the look on the third base, the umpire and the third base coach, right, was like the old school, like, this is great, get off my lawn conversation.
Okay.
Because does this bother you, Casey? The guy's got a phone. You played baseball. Like, if you had a buddy, if you're one of your teammates in high school, and he's got a phone coming out of his pocket as he dives into third.
I'd just be like, that's classic Rodolfo right there. He'd be known to do that type of stuff. I wouldn't care. Like,
where do you play, Palmetto?
Yeah, I did.
Your coach is running your ass for the next day, like for the whole team,
Yeah,
not
they
just
do
him,
that.
the whole team.
Yeah, we're moving.
The players wouldn't care.
Like, we would be upset. I'll tell you what, that was the one thing about, like, that's what would have happened exactly with our coaches, probably any coach. Like, that was the thing we hated more than, like, anything. If you get in trouble, we weren't, like, we were mad because we had to run, not because you did it.
Yeah, yeah. And
so, like, if
and
we
the
had
whole
to run,
team has to run.
Yeah, if we have to run because you have the phone, like, we're mad at that part of it. Put the phone up. But again, if Kim K's in the, you do what you gotta do.
There's no way.
I've never seen that. Like, can you imagine, like, you know how much we'd criticize, like, an NFL guy for that?
Oh my God. Jewelry used to be the big deal. Now everyone's wearing jewelry out to the game, but iPhones just
The
insanity.
question was, like, were they cheating?
Well, and so that's really where I wanted to go with it. That's what I thought about. Like, how is that not a problem? Like,
No, they're
like a risk.
They're
yeah.
investigating.
They are investigating it
Yes,
now?
MLB.
I find it hard to believe.
Well, I don't know if you can. I mean, we didn't see him on his phone out there. I don't know. With all the iPad stuff coming off the Houston and Red Sox and everything else.
Imagine if that was Houston, though.
Oh, my God.
Well, then you're sure they're cheating just because of the history.
So now, like, is somebody from the dugout, like, he's got his phone on silent and they buzz it a couple times?
Yeah, they got to give him a few vibrations.
If your butt vibrates, it's going to be a heater.
Wow. Sports science.
I don't.
And they were at home too, right?
I don't think that can be the case.
Cheating.
Yeah.
But it's worthy of an investigation given what recently went on. I'm just surprised. Have you ever seen a guy in the dugout, like on a cutaway shot, watching the Rays on his phone?
No, but maybe they should. They can figure out not to try to go to third and then steal second and extras. But no.
They got a YouTube how to steal bases.
I've only ever seen the iPad.
Like, I'm not sure it's legal. That's my point.
I don't think it is.
And I'm not saying this guy was cheating. He just had come up, so maybe he doesn't even know. But for some reason, listen, this could be about as innocent can get. He had it in his pocket during warm-ups, never put it in his bag or back in the clubhouse. He left it in the bag, didn't even realize it. That's it.
I find that hard to believe just because baseball pants are so tight.
I know.
You're going to feel it.
It's there.
I know, but if he always has it in warm-ups or something.
Routine,
I mean, I think it could happen that way. But it's just a weird thing because I don't see big leaguers. You get a lot of cutaways in the dugout, and I've really never seen that.
No.
And I even know, like, where Ty plays, like, Ty puts his phone in the car when he leaves for the ball field, and, like, he doesn't bring it even to the park.
Ty is different, though. He's, like, literally different than every other kid.
I'm saying, like, that's the rules. Like, I think they have rules for it.
Oh, that's
well. And again, it's kind of weird. You look at football.
But he is a little different. You're right.
Football, you're allowed to watch those plays on the sideline, kind of review what's happened on those little tablets. They're talking to the guys upstairs in the booth. Like, how come they can't do that in baseball or basketball?
They can.
No, they can now.
I've never seen it,
Yeah. Just, it's like an iPad. Or
That's
like
how
a
it should
Surface,
be.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like phones. They can't.
But yeah, I could totally imagine hitters going back to the dugout, checking their last at bat, seeing where the mechanics went wrong, something like that, or a pitcher
They're
checking his
fine
last
with that in the dugout, just not while you're on deck.
Yeah. Or
And
running
at
to
first
third.
base.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Like,
Rounding
it'd be
second.
awesome. Like,
He just pulls it out and is like,
You just pull the iPad out and being like walking up to the plate and like, hey, yeah, trending this. He had 68th pitch.
Last 3 pitches, slider, curve, change.
Hey,
All right.
throw it to the bat boy.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to get to a point with
That'd be
that?
cool.
Or even worse, he's taking a selfie at home plate. He's so proud he made it up from AAA. He's got to take the picture.
Maybe that was it.
Put it on the gram.
Now, that would have been cool.
What a great picture sliding to third would be. That perspective would be amazing. You need someone running behind you.
I mean, should have put the GoPro on.
All right, yeah.
Done it before.
Helmet cam, let's go.
Oh, man. Hey, Jordan DeLugo tweets out about Trevor, and I got to find it. But he has his numbers, and I'm not sure how good Jordan is at math. I'm not saying he's not good at it, but we're going to go with it right here. And this is how good the camp has been for Trevor. 149 for 209, which I can't do my math very quickly,
I'll figure
but
that out for you.
that's about 70%, maybe 72%, which it probably should be in practice.
Yeah.
But you're going in team portion, so you're going against your defense. 18 touchdowns, 2 turnover-worthy throws, which I'm not really.
They got walked off. They got walked off. First batter of the inning.
Sorry.
This team sucks.
18 touchdowns, 2 turnover-worthy throws, but I think he's actually got 1 turnover, 1 interception, 11 drops, which that's not a good thing.
No. But in light of those 11 drops, to still have a 71, 72% completion percentage is pretty impressive.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So
he's being
my
accurate.
point is, what we're seeing with our eyes is also being backed up in some of these numbers. So again, I'm not questioning Jordan, but I don't have the numbers. I don't chart them like that. So we're going to go with them. And even if they're close to accurate or slightly off by 1 or 2 things, you get the idea.
Sure.
And that is backing up like what a nice camp he has had, and Trevor continues to do it. It's like an everyday thing. I think it means something that he, knock on wood, hasn't had like a terrible day.
Does it make you
He got
nervous?
started like 1 for 6 that first team period, and that was like his worst day. And then he even rebounded nicely that afternoon.
Yeah. Does it make you nervous to think the quarterback situation might be handled at this point?
No, because I think it is. I think the bottom line is quarterback situation is handled for the next couple of years regardless. What you hope is these next couple of years lead to 12.
I guess what I'm saying is there are a few ways it could go, right? Like, not only could he be a great starter, he could be a middle-of-the-road guy for whatever reason that develops, or it could just not work out. And, the franchise has been through ups and downs with quarterbacks, really. We've been talking about it for a while now, how there really hasn't been that longevity at the position. So maybe it's just me coming from all this Jets PTSD, but I'm looking at Trevor going, I'd just be nervous if it's going well, waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Yeah, and I think there's a curiosity in that, right? With all the guys, so to your point, we have scar tissue.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, like, you take Minshew, things went well and started to look good, and you're like, okay, what's around the corner? You had Bortles where in 2017, and, it's like, okay, he's about to take a step. This could be, but
Then it didn't work out.
But what could be around the corner? Like, what eventually happened was always around the corner for Bortles, You go back, like the ceiling wasn't high enough for a guy like Garrard. Fortunately, his floor wasn't that bad either. Blaine Gabbert, we never got a glimpse of anything really good enough to grab onto. So what I'm getting at here is I think it's really nice to see a guy that was supposed to be good by every account. First of all, he was terrific in college. But every scout would say this guy is the guy. And he's performing like the guy.
Yeah.
And while we saw some bad last year, that doesn't feel like – I think there's more confidence in him throwing 30 touchdowns and 10 picks than there is concern about him throwing 18 and 18.
I bet you're right.
And I think that is universally looked at, and that feels good. And so Trevor's one guy where scar tissue doesn't really creep in for me. I think he's good. My only question where the scar tissue creeps in is, are they good enough with him? And are they going to surround him with good enough? Can they be good enough to win enough football games to gain momentum and let him do his thing and let him grow? Because you can't continually go 3-14 and grow.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. You have to sooner or later win. You have to score 27 points a game. You have to start doing these things. And I have confidence that Doug Peterson is that some of the weapons they put around is better on paper than last year. And I think he will be a catalyst for that as well because he's good. So, yeah, I guess I know what you're saying, and I don't think about it like that with him. To your same point, I talk a lot about Travis Etienne playing this week. I do have scar tissue of him getting hurt this month, and I don't want that to happen. So, like, that does exist.
Yeah.
But Trevor is doing what we thought Trevor would do, and to me, that's one of the best things we've seen in 15 years here in Jacksonville.
It'll certainly pay the most dividends, yeah.
Because he is doing what everyone thought he could do
and
so
needed
far
him
in
to
camp.
do. Yeah.
Now he's got to prove it in the. But this is what we got right now. This is what we have to work with, and it's again. I've been out there a lot. We've seen it a lot. He's looked good, and even though sometimes the offense isn't getting in the end zone, like the defense has maybe won more days and kept them out of the end zone. It's not because Trevor looks bad. In years past, when that would happen, to be like, throw sailed, ball knocked down, overthrew, wide this. That ain't it. It's either guys getting smothered and the defensive back's making a pretty nice play or a drop.
Yeah, receiver muffed it, yeah.
And that's not to say they're playing bad. I think the defense has just had their number a little bit more so far in the first couple of weeks of camp. So I think those numbers by Jordan there are a nice sign to back up what my eyes have seen out at practice at Episcopal. I want to revisit real quick. The big story right now across the NFL is Deshaun Watson's going to play on Friday night. The game's on Fox 30. I don't know what channel that is on our TV network up in South Carolina, but I would imagine this will be doing pretty good numbers the first quarter in South Carolina.
I bet. You get the whole booster club out there, yeah.
Right? I mean, we talked about this earlier, and I said this, and I think this is pretty accurate. The first quarter of this football game may have more eyes on it around the National Football League for a Jags preseason game than anyone that's ever been played.
Like, can you even think of an other important or monumental moment Jags preseason game?
I think the only thing that fits here are the 2 Hall of Fame games. One at like the 95, and I don't know what the numbers were, and I still don't know what the numbers were Thursday night. But that's one where you have it right. You have isolated the audience.
Yeah.
But even that,
The
that's not
game,
coming with buzz.
This year's Hall of Fame game had some of the lowest numbers they've had in a couple of years, yeah.
And by the way, like I've said this before, I'd never watch the Hall of Fame game. Like there's nothing
It's kind of a waste of a game.
It is. But of course we had interest because of the Jags.
That's the Jags, yeah.
That's why this is even bigger than those in my estimation. Because people in Cleveland, people at the NFL Network, people at ESPN, like this is their lead story.
Yeah.
On Friday. Around the National Football League. Like the Jags might not get this, haven't got this kind of attention. Well, I guess Urban gave them a bunch of attention. But from a football game perspective, may not have got this kind of attention
couple of
since
years.
they went on the playoff run.
Yeah. 4
like
years.
you turn on Good Morning Football tomorrow, my guess is this is what they're talking about. Deshaun Watson against the Jags.
Certainly the biggest or best preseason game on the schedule with, in terms of storylines.
And by the way, like the other part of that is, hey guys, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know if it matters, but I'm just telling you it's that big of a story across the National Football League. All eyes on Jacksonville for an hour on Friday night.
You talk about this team wanting to get good players here and recruit players, and sometimes, that ends up with, guys like Trent Baalke overpaying for people. But one of the ways to do that is to continuously have this team in the national spotlight for good reasons, whether it be Trevor playing well or Travis on the field or whatever. But, you want the national attention when it's good. You just don't want it when it's Deshaun Watson.
I would say this then. Is it important the Jags put on a decent showing because of the eyes on them?
So I don't think the detriment is huge if they don't. But if they do, the potential win there is pretty big. I mean, you might be winning over some fans in other markets you never had, selling some jerseys you wouldn't have sold.
Do some people care about that a little bit more than others?
The franchise cares.
I think so. I think anytime you can have positive momentum, like if people leave that game Friday night, they're talking about Deshaun Watson. And oh, by the way, did you see the throw Trevor made? Man, Doug Peterson's got him cooking a little bit on offense, ETN, right? Christian Kirk, everybody talked about that contract, made a hell of a catch for a touchdown grab. Like, those things can take place, like, if you perform. Problem with the Jags over the years is anytime they've had eyes on them,
they just
holy cow.
Fumbled it.
It looks like last Thursday night.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that was a game that didn't matter, and I don't think people put a lot of stock into it, but they didn't look good. That's for damn
it
sure.
allows people to say Jags are going to Jags.
Yeah.
And they did.
So anyway, I just don't think you can understate how big of a game or how much attention, not big of a game, how much attention will be on from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And by the way, the game will be on Fox 30, as I mentioned, 6:30 pregame show on Fox 30. So hopefully all eyes in Jacksonville are right on us on a Friday evening.
Wonderful.
For Jags and Browns, Deshaun Watson against Trevor Lawrence, 2 Clemson QBs, 2 national championship Clemson QBs going at it. Maybe Dabo will be watching.
He might.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Early evening storms into tonight, where we will have gradual clearing skies with lows in the lower 70s. Thursday, mostly sunny and hot with afternoon highs in the low to middle 90s with a few showers and thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedrick, and that's your Action News Jax first alert forecast.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down.
Honey, I'm home.
Don't honey me. I'm still mad at you.
I know, and I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
You and those cheap do-it-yourself cameras. I told you, call Safe Touch, but no, you tried to save a buck. So when those two thieves broke in our... alerted the thieves that they were being recorded, and you and I would have been notified with actual video on our smartphones. The SafeTouch two-way communicator would have already had the emergency authorities on the way.
I know we really need the SafeTouch 5-star security and surveillance system. I'll call today.
I already did. SafeTouch is installing our new 5-star surveillance system in the morning.
Every family needs the SafeTouch security and surveillance system. Call now and get a free demonstration. 888-723-8682 or online at safetouch.com. Dramatization of actual event. EF 0000233. Terms and conditions apply.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, poker players! The Summer Heater Poker Tournament Series is at Best Bet Jackson. 11th to the 21st, featuring 11 different poker tournaments, including the main event, a no-limit hold'em tournament with a $1,500 buy-in from August 19th to the 21st. If you're looking for an exciting poker tournament this summer, visit us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Florida's largest poker room. View the tournament and satellite schedule at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Don't miss it.
Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home hassle-free. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry, so you can sell your home stress-free and make the most money. When you get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Call 855-299-SOLD or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Certain restrictions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
This is Joe Cordell. In other ads, I've talked about the weighty matters that are on the table in divorce: assets, debts, spousal support, and of course, children. But here I want to talk to you about a troublesome issue that arises early and often in the divorce process, but which attorneys, including myself, say too little about, and that's the cost of a divorce. Yet as important as this factor is, it shouldn't overwhelm the more deserving issues that are raised by divorce. But here are just a few things that Cordell & Cordell is doing to help. We have now reduced our initial deposit or retainer. Also, there's no longer a charge for initial consultations for those who retain. And finally, we now provide on the front end a maximum fee pledge for certain modification and support matters. The bottom line is that to be a partner men can count on, we have to think about all their needs, and attorney fees are no exception.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Jacksonville area attorneys. Offices in Jacksonville and by appointment only in Ponte Vedra Beach. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
I don't know how you can have somebody come in, hire them, undermine them. If I'm her, I wouldn't even want to work for you anymore because you use me as a political face because I'm a female, because you want to make sure that, if it was a woman making a decision that it wouldn't be criticized. But then you come out and undermines my decision like I didn't take all the evidence into account.
Can't wait.
You like Bart?
Love him. Love him. He's from the age of the Jets linebacking crew, where these guys were the most rough and tumble football players I've ever seen in my life. That guy Bart Scott would eat a metal door. Love that guy.
You think he'd just talk about eating a metal door, or would he really eat a metal door?
You don't think he's a man of his word? Say it to his face. I dare you.
Yeah,
Bart Scott. Love it.
Hey, we got a big event coming up on Friday, not just a Jags game. We have that as well. But on WOKV and part of the Cox Media Group, you can help participate in the Child Cancer Fund Carathon. The numbers will share over the next couple of days how you can get going. But a donation of $10 to the WOKV Carathon helps the Child Cancer Fund pay for snacks, toys, diversion supplies. You can donate $25, pay for notebooks with information for newly diagnosed pediatric cancer families. $50 to help pay for gas to families and to and from treatment. Donation $100, cost of groceries for a family battling childhood cancer. $500 cost of a private tutor to a child with cancer so they don't fall behind in school. And we'll tell you about more and more items. But it's a 28th year Child Cancer Fund. Played in their golf tournament in the past. And obviously, WOKV and everybody here at Cox Media Group does a fantastic job. ChildCancerFund.org. Raise a ton of money on Friday. But hopefully you can be a big part of it and maybe share a little bit of your wallet as well. To help everybody battle cancer.
I'll be down there, Brent. I'll be checking in throughout the day. I'm going to have my equipment with me, so I'll check in with you guys. I know it's big game day, so I don't want to take up too much. But.
Yeah, and I would be down there if it wasn't a game day. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get down there, but I know the crew does a great job. And
did you mention the auction?
Experiences. Yeah, there's some auction items, right?
Yeah, you got. You could be a meteorologist for a day, hang out with Mike Burrish. That right now is up for $100.
That is fun. I do that every night, folks.
Tell you what.
You got some autographed books here from some prominent authors. You got some cool experiences up for grabs. So, we try to make it exciting with that silent auction as well. You can find all of that stuff, including details and links to donate at ESPN690.com.
Is there a Brent Martineau experience?
There has been in the past. Maybe I didn't donate one this year, or they just didn't ask because it didn't sell in the past.
Oh, boy.
I'd believe that.
Well, let me tell you, someone who gets to experience the Brent Martineau experience every day. I'm really excited. As long as it doesn't cost anything.
By the way,
really excited.
If you could pick somebody to have the experience with, I'd actually pick Casey. I mean, just think the meter is up and down and all around. I think today we had him at a 5. I think it jumped up to a 5.5. Might have even gone to a 7, then down to a 4. I don't know where it sits now, but Action Sports Jack's OT is coming up right after our show with Brian Middleton and Casey Kurtz. Where are you at right now, Casey?
The race thing just really put my
derailed you.
At a wrap.
Casey really is the epitome of the knuckleball meter. It's just everywhere.
It's the knuckleball.
Everywhere.
Like we do the Casey meter with a knuckleball, like as the logo.
Is it a strike? Just kidding. Passed ball. What's next?
I like the idea of doing that. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Casey Kurtz.
Sponsored by Tim Wakefield.
Oh, by the way, lives right down in Melbourne.
Oh.
He does.
You have Tim Wakefield's autograph?
Many a time.
What about Charlie Huff?
I guess he's a pretty good golfer,
That's the only time I ever got him. It's tough when he played. That height of Boston was very tough to get anybody, but I've gotten him a few times at the golf course.
Plays in a bunch of events, I'm sure.
DRI in Orlando.
I actually asked Martin Buckley. Buckley knows him pretty well. So I was like, Buckley, how about you set up some golf for Wakefield and you and me?
That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
I think that would be kind of fun because I've heard Wakefield's a good dude.
He just seems like a regular guy.
If I played golf with Wakefield, do I have to bring up 2003? Because there are a lot of good moments.
I think you don't, Brent.
But see, I always thought about this with Wakefield. Like, you throw one pitch, and you really don't know what it's going to do.
No idea.
And so, do you really ever blame yourself?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're like, well, it's not my fault. I had no idea where the ball was going.
Well, listen, I mean,
I see what you're saying.
He's not going to say that because that'd be like every time he strikes. I'm sure he throws a better knuckleball one pitch versus the next.
Okay.
But
it got unlucky that it broke down the middle of the plate.
It is. Like,
yeah, it's not like he's Greg Maddoxing it into the corner of the strike zone.
Like, that's a very unpredictable pitch, even for the guy throwing it. Like the summer, that pitch reacts different than it does even in October.
How crazy
because
is
of
that?
the weather.
Yeah.
Like people have said that. Like that seriously is the thing. Like you could bring this same conversation up with a guy like Mariano Rivera, but Rivera still has control whether that thing's going up, down, in, or out.
Yeah, well,
you know
Rivera's
what I mean?
not throwing 50 miles an hour, so the
But he
faster
throws
he's
one
throwing.
pitch. I mean, so if it cuts and the guy hits it, well, what are you supposed to do? Well, maybe he wanted it on the inner half and he put it on the outer half and made the mistake.
Okay,
you know.
But if he's throwing a cutter at like 90 plus, chances are it's going close to where he wants it to go.
That
most of
Wakefield
the
thing's
time.
interesting, though. I never really thought about it like that.
I always think about it.
Like, he got super unlucky. And Aaron Boone, like, that pitch didn't float. Like, that thing was moving. It just happened to break into the zone. And Aaron Boone was like, like, the odds of that, I think, are so low.
And by the way, also, Boone was doing nothing. Like, I think the story there was like he was 0 for his last, like, 17.
He had no business being at the plate.
They were like, all right, we'll throw this guy out there. Like, seriously, they had to give him, like, a pep talk before he went out there because he was, like, so not confident at the plate.
He almost maybe spit out some Celsius.
Good thing it wasn't Keith Folk in there. He would have struck out on 3 pitches.
Oh, Folk, man. Folk was a train wreck at times, but when he was good, he was good.
I know.
That's a
Keith
great
Folk.
poll right there on the Keith Folk.
Thank you.
But anyway, I guess I feel bad for guys like Wakefield had an unbelievable career.
He's not defined by that. I don't think.
By 2003, no.
No, but I would say this. Like, what is he defined by then? Like,
Just the knuckleball in general, being so successful.
Like,
with
does
this
it like
pitch.
when I think knuckleball? Like, you just saw it happen. I said Tim Wakefield because that was the first thing I thought of when I think of knuckleball. Now that could be.
But do
an
you
age
think of
thing.
it in a positive light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like when people say Phil Niekro, they say knuckleball, but they think of it positive.
Yeah.
Well, he had a lot of bad moments. I think his numbers aren't like. It's not like he was Cy Young.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the funny thing about the knuckleball guys. There's not a lot of them, but you remember the ones that had longevity, even though their numbers aren't like Clayton Kershaw-esque.
Well, the real problem with the knuckleball is when it's not working, it's just a 50-mile-an-hour batting practice pitch.
Then that's the thing. If you can play long enough where the knuckleball's working, like Wakefield played forever, you know, so it's working more times than not.
Wasn't the story on Wakefield? He was an outfielder with the Pirates organization, and then he turned himself into a knuckleballer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the story on him.
But also one of those pitches that you're not going to, ruin your shoulder on.
True.
Like your Jacob deGrom throwing 174 miles an hour. You're not doing that for 20 years.
I wonder what happens if you start throwing the knuckleball at like 6 and just work on it your whole life. Because like same thing, R.A. Dickey wasn't a knuckleballer. Then he became it and won the Cy Young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had his best year by far, but it was like a flash in the pan thing. It worked for like a year. Why did it only work for a year?
He couldn't throw it when he got to the Blue Jays.
I mean, you get to that point. But like, if you make your whole life about throwing the knuckleball, how good could you be?
Well, and by the way, who's the latest? Is R.A. Dickey the last guy?
It's got to be
There's
a
dude.
new knuckleballer.
There's a dude that's in the minors right now. He pitched a little bit. I'm trying to think of his name. Pitched with Baltimore.
But I agree with you, Casey. Like, why wouldn't you
like dive into it?
Yeah, you just master it. Like I talk about like with Kaylee all the time. Like Kaylee, because we talk pitching so much. Like Kaylee, spin that thing, master X pitch, right? Like you can just keep that ball in your hand like all day long while you're watching Grey's Anatomy for 4 hours.
Oh.
She's into Grey's Anatomy. She watched more Grey's Anatomy this summer, I think.
Isn't that weird?
And that's an odd thing, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
By
spin the
way,
ball.
When you type in knuckleball, the Wikipedia picture is Wakefield.
Is it really? More than like a Niekro?
Niekro's up there. Charlie Huff is up there when you
Charlie
look at
Huff.
the Google results.
I'm interested now.
Stephen Wright, that's the guy he pitched for Boston.
Oh, Stephen Wright. Yeah, he did. I remember that.
Like that's the last. Like he's the last one I remember.
He had a little success.
Tom Candiotti,
Little bit.
maybe. He was before that.
But like these are all people that like they didn't come up doing this. You get one kid right now, start him at 11, and you throw nothing but knuckleballs.
It's kind of a dead
13 years, the kid's going to be disgusting. I guarantee it.
Well, not only that,
or he's going to be a banker, one of the two, because he doesn't make it. But
well, he won't get recruited because he doesn't throw 90.
That's true.
And nobody will trust it.
That's the other thing I don't understand. If you're great at the knuckleball, why not pair it with like a nasty fastball?
Yeah, like
or
a
slider?
big time fastball.
Yeah.
Because like Wakefield would throw the fastball once in a while, but I think it was
Like
only like an
78
87
miles an hour,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
like for those guys, it was like 86, 87. But it would surprise some people.
I think your best chance to that point is a slider. Like, I think it's difficult because I tried to throw a knuckleball like in games when I had no business doing it. Like the catcher called a different pitch, and I just threw a knuckleball.
You're like, we're
and like
going the knuckle.
I got some strikeouts on it. I also hit people in the head. But like, I think it's hard to go from that to like I don't know. It's just hard to do. But I think slider, it's a similar kind of thing. You get a disgusting slider and a knuckleball, bro. Cy Young after Cy Young.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the change in speeds at a minimum. Like, that's got to be jarring for a hitter, especially major league.
Casey, I think you're right, though. And maybe this is why people don't want the knuckleball, but you could have a career that's so long. Phil Niekro played for 24 years.
Yeah.
Charlie Huff played for 25.
Yeah, man.
Now, Phil Niekro was 318, and I think it was 274. 300-game winner. 300 games. Charlie Huff, 216 and 216. Their ERAs were both in the threes. So, like, isn't Huff the great example of the knuckleball? His record was 500.
Yeah.
But now, keep in mind,
either on or off.
You can have great pitchers, by the way, the longevity, that their record hovers right around. But Nolan Ryan's numbers are not great from a win-loss perspective. So,
no Cy Youngs.
You want to laugh?
But it's just a wild thing. Casey,
Sure.
I'm kind of agreeing with you, Casey. Like, I think, why are more people not, like, how about this? I'll give you one. If I was a female,
just start throwing it.
Start throwing
in baseball.
And I want to play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Start throwing a knuckleball.
It's a good idea.
Because you don't have to worry. I mean,
You're not trying to overpower bigger people with a fastball. Yeah.
And I don't know if the mechanics of a female body versus a male body can even throw 90-something. Like, it hasn't been done, I don't think. So I'm guessing no.
Right.
Or at least to make it to that level with the, strikeout ability and all the rest that you need. But I would think a female could throw. Kaylee, start throwing the knuckleball. Left-handed knuckleballer.
That would be sick if it was.
Have we ever had a left-handed knuckleballer?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Left-handed knuckleballer and first female big leaguer.
If you would have cracked this idea like 7 years ago, you'd be onto something.
I know it.
She's too good
Can
at
I just
softball.
give you a quick stat on R.A. Dickey, because we were talking about him and
Yes.
kind of threw away his career like it was shorter than these other guys.
World-class bat autograph, by the way.
15 years for R.A. Dickey, by the way. Retired at 42, so it's not like he was forced out of the game or anything like that, right? His win-loss percentage was 500.
Like exactly.
It was 504. His ERA was 404, so he's not lighting the world on fire. And, knuckleballers, again, not putting their arms in too much danger. You want to talk about how many games he started. He went on this run with 32, 33, 34, 34, 33, 29, 31. That was to end his career.
Yeah, he was reliable.
Well, how about everybody has like a 500 record. Wakefield was 200 and 180.
That's wild.
And by the way, if you're 20 games over 500 for your career, that's pretty damn good.
If you win 200, no one's winning 200 games anymore.
And Wakefield actually closed.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah,
genius,
that's right.
low key. Like,
Well,
there's
that's
a
why
chance,
he was in the 12th
yeah,
inning.
I know.
Mhm.
There's a chance it goes poorly, i.e. Aaron Boone. But more times than not, I feel like you're doing well there. And by the way, best part of that is after you give up the walk-off to Aaron Boone or anybody else, some schmuck like Brent Martineau comes up for a post game, and you're like, I don't know, bro. I don't know where it's going. I didn't mislocate. It just moved. Like, you have a get-out-of-jail-free card every time you suck.
You do. Well, that's what I'm trying to give him, especially if I play golf with him sometime. Be like, hey, man, it's not your fault. What were you supposed to do?
I mean,
the wind blew it in.
You weren't going to try to sneak the heater by him, were you? Probably not. So, it happened that way.
Yeah.
And you guys won next year. So.
Can you think of something, by the way? This is a fascinating topic for me all of a sudden, that just one statement blows into a 12-minute segment. I love this show or this job. Hope you love the show. Probably not if we're talking about knuckleballs for 12 minutes, but stay with me for another minute.
Yeah.
So we're asking the question, like, why aren't there not more knuckleballers if it has a success? Like Tim Wakefield, 19 years, 24 years for Huff, 25 years for Niekro. Those guys were a little older, so back in the day, people were lasting longer anyway, it seems like.
15 for R.A. Dickey. Yeah, long
15
careers.
for a guy like we knew R.A. Dickey for seriously 18 months. We had never even heard of him outside
He
of
had
that. it feels
3
like.
good years, all for the Mets, and then he was never heard from ever again before or after.
So
he got paid.
So we're asking, like, why wouldn't there be more of those guys given the track record? I don't know the answer to that.
It's a tough
But is
pitch.
there something else, like in sports, that is effective but doesn't get used, like in any sport? Like, could you bring up this? Why for a while there did Tony Franklin, Rick Carlos, I think it was his name, Rich or Rick, kick barefooted?
Oh, okay.
Like, why did they kick barefooted? Why hasn't anybody else brought that back?
It seems pretty psychotic.
Oh, what about the guy that shot the underhanded free throws?
Oh, Rick Barry.
Yeah.
But a lot of people did back then.
Well, and now all these bad free throw shooters try it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just curious. It just sparked my
Do you think it's
memory of like.
Do you think it's a machismo thing? Like the knuckleball isn't some like big, nasty, scary pitch.
Well,
right?
I think that's why. I think that's why Casey. Like, that's why kids don't do it.
Right.
Because that's not cool.
It's not sexy.
Now, I'll tell you this: all the kids flirt with it, but they're not sitting there trying to master it.
Well,
They're not going to like
me.
Tampa and going to the ranch and working on their knuckleball.
Nah.
You know, like they're trying to get faster
Yeah.
and more velo.
You're just throwing it when the catcher calls changeup, and you're like, this is similar.
I will say, though, going through minor league baseball when I was a kid, the second one of those kids figured out how to throw a tight curve, I mean, they were trying to throw it almost every pitch.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. Now the slider's the pitch right now. But anyway, fascinating. Tim Wakefield. Maybe I'll get a chance to ask him. I would think there would be more knuckleballers.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's just a dead pitch.
Like, why do you not if you're like bad outfielder, you know?
You're bad anything.
There you go.
Well, listen.
Also,
one last
catchers
thing.
could be disgusting because of the short. I think that would be.
You know who's made a home for themselves, like in the sport, and this even at the youth levels, the sidearm guy.
Oh, man.
Like the sidearm guy is back, like in, I don't know if he ever left. I'm just saying it's more.
Well, it was
like
very
a guy
prominent in
like
the 80s.
Darren
though.
O'Day changes everything and becomes a 15-year big leaguer.
Chad Bradford, baby.
And he got cut by Florida or whatever, right?
Yep.
So, and that is it's so unique you don't see the motion, so it's tricky enough to get through a lineup once.
If I could
Or
do it
3
over,
outs.
that's what I would do. Like half.
That's what a lot of people do. They convert. Once it's not going well, they convert the sidearm
I tell you what, it hurts
instead of
so
converting
bad.
to a knuckleball.
Yeah. Kind of gives you an easy way to come out of bat. You got 2 present knuckleballers, by the way, according to the internet. You got the aforementioned Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
And you've got Mickey Janis.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even Stephen Wright, I didn't know he was still playing.
He's in the minors somewhere.
Huh. All right, we'll be back. Put a bow on the show. Action Sports Jacks OT coming up at 6 o'clock. Casey Kurtz, Brian Middleton. I feel like that conversation made Casey meter go up to about
a little
8.
bit.
Yeah, I love it. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When you look at a schedule, it reveals more than even the schedule what you really think about that team. Bad teams, their schedules always look brutal because they're no good, so you don't think they're going to win many games. Good teams, you look at the schedule, it's not so bad because they're favored in a lot of those games. I guess I would also take the under on the Jets, but just. Like, I think 5.5 games is right. I'll take the under.
GJ and Max, followed by Greeny. Mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Hi, I'm Mike Combs, professional contractor and TV host. I love helping people, but when it came to improving the water in my own home, I needed help and turned to the water experts at Connecticut to make it right. My water was causing visible problems throughout my home, and it got me thinking about the problems I couldn't see. Protecting my water using appliances and pipes, preventing stains and hardness buildup, and having clean, great-tasting drinking water are all important to me. But choosing the right water treatment equipment can be tricky. That's where Connecticut comes in. A Connecticut water expert will test your water for free and recommend the system that fits your needs and budget. Improve the quality of your water and your life with the Connecticut water treatment system. I'm so glad I did.
This year, CGC Water Treatment is celebrating 75 years in business. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com for your free assessment. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
There are 16 spots in the playoffs and just one track left. Well, not just any track. Daytona. A last chance to keep playoff hopes alive and for fans to experience an event unlike any other. NASCAR Weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 26th and 27th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
All offers are with approved credit and not in conjunction. See dealer for complete details. Make this the summer event.
Come in for summer savings. There's still time at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Get 0% on brand new Ram trucks or Jeep Gladiators. They can get the job done. We've got a great selection just waiting to drive you home. Bring us your trade and get paid. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, I-295 and Bay Meadows.
A new era is here for Jaguars football. New championship-winning coach, new superstars, and new optimism. One consistent this fall is Tailgaters Parking will still be delivering the very best tailgating experience at the bank all season. Tailgaters Parking doesn't just talk a big game. They're right across the street from TIAA Bank Field. Offer clean, permanent restrooms, food options, a full liquor bar, and all parking spots are on a well-kept grass lot. Check out Tailgaters Parking at tailgatorsparking.com to reserve your spot today.
Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because our Sleep Number 360 smart bed is really smart. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to help keep you both comfortable. Plus, it's temperature balancing so you stay cool. It's even smart enough to know exactly how long, how well, and when you slept. Our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. Sleep Number takes care of the science. All you have to do is sleep. It's the biggest sale of the year where all smart beds are on sale. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, only for a limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Technology lets you monitor your dog over your phone as he destroys your couch. But to monitor threats to your hybrid workforce, you need more than technology. You need CDW to assess risks and arm your team with pre-configured HP notebooks equipped with HP Wolf Security. AI-enabled threat detection, built-in security, and remote management keep your endpoint safe 24/7. Unlike that antique vase, HP makes always-on remote security possible. CDW makes it powerful. Learn more at cdw.com/HP.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Matt Patricia. I understand Matt Patricia was fired by the Lions a couple years ago. He didn't come back with the Patriots with glowing remarks. I get all of that. I understand that Joe Judge was fired from the Giants. He's not going back to the Patriots with glowing remarks. The last time, if I can remember correctly, that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots didn't necessarily have an offensive coordinator, they went 11-5 or 10-6. And I think that was either in 08 or 09. So I'm not really worried about it right now. I'm just not at all. Not at all. Not one bit.
The worst. Oh, my God. Keyshawn Johnson with a bad take.
It happens. I mean, I've never done it.
Perfect. Brent is undefeated on the radio.
Less than an hour ago, you had a bad take.
Casey's keeping score just in
On
case you
what?
didn't know.
Cameron Smith.
Aw, man. Screw Cam.
I can't co-sign. I hope he doesn't go. Like, I hope it's fake. I hope the whole thing's fake.
And then he's got to make amends.
Go.
I've thought about that.
He's going to reach out to Brent. He's going to be like, Brent, I meant to get back to you a couple of months ago. I forgot. Sorry, buddy.
I'm going to then make it like a thing to make sure he hears the sound that you just slaughtered him.
It's fine. I mean, you know what I've learned? I've been very nice to people a lot of times in my career.
When?
This guy literally funded your existence the last 2 years or year.
Thank you for that.
Funding my existence.
Like he's sending you on trips and buying you food.
First of all, he never sent me on any trips. Second of all, he has given me a lot of money. So I do.
Yeah, he just doubled up a bet for no reason for funsies.
That was nice.
He's like, hey, let me give you more money.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about like people like you. I'm talking about like athletes. And I'm not sure like where it hasn't got us any exclusive interviews or anything. Let's just say that. You know, like I could say something nice or not so nice about Cam Smith, and I don't think it's changing the trajectory of our relationship.
I'll tell you one that did change, Ian Eagle. We are never getting that guy.
And by the way, that was Ian Eagle. And I love Ian Eagle. So,
and by the way,
I did.
I was worried where that was going at first.
I didn't know where he was going with it because I thought he might have been talking about like Marv or somebody and confusing it.
I was worried that when he first started talking, it was going to spin back to your friend that works for CBS.
Catalan, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, wouldn't that be funny if Aaron just totally disrespected him? And then Brent's like, by the way, we're friends.
Well, then he would be able to fix it. He'd get us together, and that catharsis would continue with closure and resolution, like adults.
You know what? Sometimes if you have a bad moment, sometimes it shows up on the back end.
That's right.
That can happen.
That's my dream. Revenge on everyone who's done me wrong.
Here on the radio. Here are the airwaves.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. I got a lot of people to.
Everyone should suffer.
It
yes.
sounds like we weren't getting Ian Eagle on anyway.
We should tell him.
Ian, we have a big guy, a Jets fan that grew up listening to you.
We have
not coming on, Aaron Jackson.
We have an opportunity for you to right a wrong, Ian Eagle. Refuse to do it.
He is. I think Ian's getting a little overly lambasted by you.
All right, it's fine.
But I understand
You
this was
broke my heart,
therapeutic for
Brent.
you.
Yes.
I think JP Shadrick over at the Jags knows Ian. Maybe I can get you guys together.
Tell JP to
I'll
put the
buy the
call in.
lunch.
Well, I'll go no matter what. You buying lunch, I'm there.
So will I.
Oh, man. How did we get here? We got to go.
Through heartbreak.
1st and 10 training camp, 11:15 on CBS 47, Fox 30. The big story today, Deshaun Watson will play. So will Trevor Lawrence in the first team offense, Travis Etienne included. The guys that will miss out, Jamal Agnew, James Robinson, going to hold them out, Laviska Shenault as well. So Friday, big game. That first quarter, not the outcome, but how they play, there'll be a lot to judge. On Friday evening, that game will be on Fox 30. We talk more about it tomorrow. We got Action Sports Shacks OT coming up next. Casey Kurtz, Brian Middleton. For Aaron Schachter, you can hear him in the morning. 96.9 The Eagle. Probably playing Journey once, twice, or 3 times a lady.
3 times a maybe.
I'm Brent Mardo. Have a good night, everybody.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Honey, I'm home.
Don't honey me. I'm still mad at you.
I know, and I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
You and those cheap do-it-yourself cameras. I told you, call SafeTouch, but no, you tried to save a buck. So when those 2 thieves broke in, alerted the thieves that they were being recorded, and you and I would have been notified with actual video on our smartphones. The SafeTouch two-way communicator would have already had the emergency authorities on the way.
I know, we really need the SafeTouch 5-star security and surveillance system. I'll call today.
I already did. SafeTouch is installing our new 5-star surveillance system in the morning.
Every family needs the SafeTouch security and surveillance system. Call now and get a free demonstration. 888-723-8682 or online at safetouch.com. Dramatization of actual event. EF 0000233. Terms and conditions apply.
Beat the heat at Best Bet. From the state's top poker room to live-action simulcast wagering to amazing sushi and drinks. Come experience non-stop excitement at Best Bet with great daily high hands, lots of table shares, and tons of poker cash games and tournaments. The action is sizzling. Play the hottest card games, including Ultimate Texas Hold'em, 3-card poker, and Pai Gow. You must be 18 years or older to play. More at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet. Experience the best.
Not 100, not 200, not even 300. I'm talking 400 pre-owned on the lot, ready to test drive at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. All makes, all models, all waiting for you to test drive and take home today. Plus, Arlington's 30-day exchange program comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Your next great ride is waiting for you at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
If you've been injured on the job and are not receiving the benefits you're entitled to, call me, Glenn Levine at the law offices of Anajar Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Bank how and when you want to with Community First. Get free checking with rewards and free digital tools that make managing your money simple and life simply better. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo. And Maria in Miami. Jules in Minneapolis and Stan in Central Indiana. Taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
The preseason opener Friday against the Jaguars as the NFL appealed to extend Watson's 6-game suspension for violating the personal conduct policy is pending. Watson will not be able to play if he is suspended indefinitely for at least 1 year. The league is seeking a lengthy suspension because of what it called Watson's egregious and predatory behavior toward women. 8 days after the league penalized the Dolphins for tampering with Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady, the teams held their first of 2 joint practices today. Plenty of eyes are on QB Tua Tagovailoa as he gets ready for his prove-it season in Miami. Tua needs to continue to build on the progress he's made this summer, says ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum.
Stack one good day on top of the next. Show command of this new offense. You have a new head coach, new play caller, lots of new weapons highlighted by Tyreek Hill. Go out. Don't let the ball hit the ground. Get in and out of the huddle. No false starts. Play good, clean football, and keep working towards opening day.
Baseball Tigers fired VP and GM Al Avila. Detroit's got the second worst record in the AL in a year. The team guaranteed nearly $250 million in free agency.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at Progressive.com.
If you having take problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got...
A lot of things to do, not a lot of time to do it. Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690 on what is Wednesday.
Yeah, man, the lighting in here. I know you said it,
Yeah, they turned the lights off on me.
amazing.
The camera shot's all wrong. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to power through. Because we don't have a lot of time. We got a lot of topics. Brian Middleton's photo shoot posing.
I mean, with this kind of light right here, man, usually it's flipped around. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't control the lights anymore. I control nothing. Just the board from 3 to 6. And now you're in control. Action Sports Jacks Overtime. Brian Middleton, the broadcast dawns on the ones and the twos. Casey Kurtz with you for about 20 minutes. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball coming up. They play the Durham Bulls tonight. Tampa Bay Rays affiliate who lost the game earlier today, if you were listening. I don't know. When was that? About 5? About the top of the 5 when the Rays got a guy thrown out at third and then thrown out at second in extra innings. Then a guy struck out, and then the first guy walked him off. I was pretty upset about that, so I'll pull that video and let the people on social media know how I feel. If you want to see that video, follow at K Kurtz and at the broadcast on while you're there on Twitter. Brian Mills and the breaking news that came out while you were watching the traffic. You may not have seen it, so let me update you if you haven't. Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns come to town on Friday, and that is exactly what it will be. Deshaun Watson will start for the Cleveland Browns if he's not suspended before then. So because of the appeal, he's okay to play. But if the league were to suspend him between now and Friday game time, he would not be able to play. But, it took 8 months for them to get the first suspension. So I can't imagine they're going to be able to put this together before that.
They're going to be working on his suspension through 2025.
They're going to be working on it forever. So the point is that it is more than likely and has been announced by Cleveland that Deshaun will start in the game against Trevor Lawrence, who took over for him at Clemson. So the big Clemson storyline, by the way.
They're part of that fraternity right there. That's right.
They are. Trevor Lawrence will start for the Jags as well. Travis Etienne will play. Most of the first-team offense will play, according to Doug Peterson. So
can't wait.
I'll tell you what, the first quarter of that game is going to be interesting.
Ooh-wee.
It's going to be very, very interesting. But Deshaun will start for the Browns in that game. How do you feel about that? I feel a certain way about it, but not because of the Deshaun thing. But I want to get your take first because you haven't been on the radio for the last 3 hours here. So when you see that Deshaun Watson is going to start for the Browns, what do you think?
So besides all the general feelings that most people will have that has some sense about, the Deshaun Watson case, aside from that, I can't wait to see the creativity of some of the signs because I know that some of those signs will not be TV worthy, but will be hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious, not making fun of the seriousness, but people get creative with those signs. Sometimes you just like, and Deshaun, you playing here? Huh? Against that defense?
Yeah.
Come on, Trayvon. Joshua.
It's a great call.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee.
Let's go. We're going to, again, aside from the actual serious stuff, we're going to see whether or not the rest of Deshaun Watson, what that looks like having
not played for a year.
Over a year off. And it's, so, there's a lot of different storylines there. But what's the likelihood? What's the likelihood in your, estimation that he actually does play? That a suspension or something doesn't come
100.
before? Okay.
There's no chance they get this done before then. Because, they don't care if he plays on Friday,
The preseason.
It's almost – here's the thing. I'll tell you – and they're not going to admit this. I'll tell you who definitely wants him to play, and that's the higher-ups over at Fox 30, in which the game will be on. Because they're going to have some people tuning in. Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. They're contacting their clients right now like, hey, we got to up the charge on the commercials.
Up this. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know we quoted you a rate, but that was before Deshaun Gate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he's going to play. Here's the thing that's very, very dumb to me about it, and I can't fully wrap my head around this one.
Okay.
So Deshaun's going to start, but we know he's not going to start the season.
Yeah.
So what happens after Deshaun Watson plays? He plays a quarter. You don't really have to save him from injury because he's not going to start. You don't want him to get hurt, but you got nothing to worry about.
Okay, yeah.
So he plays a quarter. He plays a couple series, whatever. What do they do next? Do they put Jacoby Brissett in? Because then I have a huge problem with how stupid and dumb that is. Because you need Jacoby Brissett to start for you for at least the first 6 weeks and probably longer. So if you play all your ones with Deshaun Watson and then you take all the ones out and then put Jacoby Brissett in with the twos, that's stupid.
So the idea may be listen, that might be a plan, right? We don't know what Cleveland, what they're thinking sometimes. But that may be the plan. But also, it may be a plan where it's just listen, we got to get this out the way. We can either do this now in the preseason, or we could do something where, we'll wait to play Deshaun, or we'll play him with the twos. I think
I'd have played him with the twos.
A part of it is just getting him out on the field with the starters and just saying, we already know there's going to be pushback. There'll be pushback pretty much every game, unless you guys are 10-3 in December or something like that. But you kind of just want to get the elephant out of the room. What's the saying? Elephant in the room. You want to get I don't know what the saying is, but you want to go ahead and get that over with.
Address the elephant in the room, yeah.
And so, it's maybe that's a part of their thinking as well. Go ahead and just get it over with. You're going to get booed anyway.
Yeah.
But in that case, I would think they would want to start him at home, like a home preseason game or something like that.
True. Here's what I think will happen, and this is what I think they should have done. So first, what I think will happen. I think Deshaun Watson will play a good amount.
Okay.
I do not think Jacoby Brissett plays at any point because he's their starting quarterback, kind of like Trevor didn't play in the Hall of Fame game. Their first preseason game, they're thinking, we're not going to play our starter at all. So then I think Jacoby Brissett does not play, and then you see Josh Dobbs and you see Josh Rosen after Deshaun Watson.
Rosen, he's still in the league? He's still in the league?
Yeah, apparently he went to Browns.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I think will happen. This is what I thought should have happened before this news came out. I think they should have started Jacoby Brissett, played him with the starters, played him with the ones, however long that is, and then Deshaun Watson comes in and plays with the twos.
I guess. But
because I agree he needs to play as Kevin Stefanski making decisions off of football and not the other stuff that he has to do to get his team ready. You have to play him. He hasn't played in a year, to your point. Got to play him. So I would have played him with the twos because you need the reps with the ones with Brissett. That's how I would have done it. Obviously, that's not how it's going to happen. So I envision Brissett doesn't play at all now.
Okay.
That's my guess.
I could see that scenario happen.
Because it is their first preseason game, and Brissett is their starter.
Yeah.
So, but what I am looking forward to is when Trayvon Walker gets that sack on him.
Ooh-wee. Don't let me – hey, listen. Don't let Trayvon get another sack this game right here.
Especially against Deshaun Watson? If he runs him down or something?
Sit down somewhere.
I tell you what.
I'm calling it 2 sacks, 3 tackles for losses. You're going to be in the backfield all day.
Yeah, he's just going to be getting after him. That would be fascinating, but that is the news of the day. Deshaun Watson will play on Friday right here in Jacksonville. By the way, I'm not a salesperson for the Jags. The tickets are $10. You can go to the game right now for $10.
Yeah. You think that's going to stay that way? between now and Thursday. Then, I mean, I don't know. Don't the prices go up?
They probably will. So I get you tickets tonight. Like, I just checked when the news came out. I checked because Amanda was like, hey, we need to go to the game. I was like, well, I can't go for free.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Cheap ticket report.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to check on tomorrow. So right now we're at the 400 section. So the upper deck, $10. Lower section, I think it was like 14.
Okay.
So still pretty cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Casey was like, that $4 is too much.
Well, yeah.
That extra $8 is too much.
Because here's the thing, right? So Amanda wants to go.
Okay.
But.
Do you not want to go?
No, I can get in for free.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So can you, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
But.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm like, all right, I only got to buy one ticket. Because then I'll go with her, she'll have the ticket. I'll use the little pass. And then, like, we'll sit there, but, like, I can't buy tickets that are too good because then people will be sitting around it and I won't have said ticket. You know what I'm saying? So we got to feel that. Anyway, not important. The point is you can go for a pretty cheap price. As of right now, we'll keep track of that for the game on Friday. Hey, Brian, before we go to break, let's do this.
Yeah.
We talked about a little bit yesterday, Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Gonna call it a career, a fantastic career, an all-time career. Great point. I want to bring this in ultimately to not best female athletes of all time, but best American athletes of all time because she fits on both lists, in my opinion. But I don't want to say history, but that's really the only word that comes to mind here. Like growing up, did you watch Serena Williams? What was like your connection to the Williams sisters?
Because you probably were like zero. I think you were. You probably were alive because I can vaguely remember. Like Venus was the star. If I can remember, like being a little kid, Venus was the star, and Serena came on. But it took Serena a minute to kind of even get to Venus's level, even though she was already being touted as well. But Venus was the one who came onto the scene and was like, this is the future of tennis.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, somewhere around, I don't know, 2000, 2001, I don't know when it happened, 03, Serena was just like, no, fam, we the future. Matter of fact, I'm the future. And Venus has had a great career as well. I don't want to knock her at all. But, yeah, man, it's been amazing to see, the beginning and the end of it. Now, I don't follow women's tennis intently, but, like, her battles at one point in the 2000s with Maria Sharapova for a second. You can name a couple of these people who, you thought were going to knock Serena Williams off of the top, and take that crown. And maybe some did for like a week or two, but I read somewhere that she was on top for number one, like 319 weeks, something dumb, something silly like that. Just come on, man. How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
So definitely a top 10 athletic career of all time. Absolutely. Athlete, though, it just kind of depends on what do you mean by athlete.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. So here's one thing also I want to say about Serena Williams before we get to the athlete part of it.
Okay.
My grandma, it is my grandma, right? So she's older.
I hope so.
She's been alive a long time. There's like 80, 90% of athletes I could bring up to my grandma. She'd be like, nah.
Yeah.
Like if I go, hey, grandma, do you see Trevor Lawrence? She'd be like, no, obviously not. She likes the Colts, but not important. If I go to my grandma and say, hey, grandma, like Serena Williams, how you love Serena Williams? She loves her. Like, she's a big fan.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make there is, like, everybody listening might not make that connection to Serena Williams. I'm not a tennis fan, and my grandma's not a diehard tennis fan either, but she loves Serena Williams.
That kind of reach across
that's the reach,
casual
exactly.
fan, cross culture and all that stuff. Yeah, so take that to account on yours. If I'm going strictly from an athletic perspective, because athlete, I'm thinking athletic ability.
Yeah.
Again, she's all-time great, but I don't know how anybody can knock Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson. And you probably got somebody else I'm not thinking of right now. But
I got a couple others, yeah.
Listen, you hit a home run and score a touchdown in the best professional league that we think here in America, because, I'm sure there's a baseball league somewhere that, is killing it. But in the MLB, in the NBA, in the NFL, you do that, you win.
No, I agree.
You at least the silver medalist. So, that's why I'm like, what are the definitions? But if we're going off of the entirety of it, I mean, you can't knock her. She has an argument.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I think that's a great point, and those two were on my list absolutely to bring up. And when you get to the individualized sports, I think it's easier to make the athlete claim.
That's fair.
Right? Because, like, Kevin Durant is never going to be on this list, in my mind.
Ever.
Great, but like those type of people, like even great hockey players are not going to make this list for me because it's an athlete thing. But I think the individual part of tennis and those that don't watch a lot of tennis like me, when I've watched tennis, some of these matches go like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like these are long battles, and the stamina, like to be at 100% all the time, because it's boom, boom. You got to be somewhere.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you though. Bo Jackson, absolutely. Deion Sanders. I will give Michael Phelps here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael Phelps is a very good example, I think. Another one that's interesting, and it's a good lead into Jumbo Shrimp Baseball coming up in just a second, is Eddie Alvarez. I know you don't know who that is, but he played for the Shrimp last year, and he's like one of 3 athletes in American history to get a medal in the Winter and Summer Olympics. So he got it in baseball, and then he got it in speed skating in the Winter Olympics.
Like Lolo Jones.
There you go.
Yeah, so
So it's people like that, and I think, granted, Serena only played one sport, but I think just being Tiger Woods fits here. Now, people are going to argue that.
Because some don't think golf is a sport.
Right.
And I'm like, have you ever walked?
Exactly.
Not play, just walk with the group.
And I think to that point, when you get to that greatness, Tiger and Serena to me are very similar in their greatness.
Absolutely.
Not in their personalities or anything like that, or personal life, I should say. They do have similar personality in terms of like, I'm going to beat you and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just all it is. So I think it's fascinating, but at the end of the day, Serena Williams, great career. And Brian, I'm getting to the point in my life now where like all these great athletes that like I grew up with are retiring. It's making me feel old. It makes me feel like you and Brent and Aaron.
Yeah, you got to wait about, what am I, 8.5, 9 years ahead of you. You got to wait another 10 years because you've kind of seen some of these athletes begin, but when they start, you see the beginning and now you see the end, and you're like, now wait a minute, now hold on.
Yeah, it's a good call.
So, you still got time. You can still feel young.
I'm getting there because Derek Jeter is my favorite. I didn't see him begin, but I saw it end.
You really didn't see him begin?
No, but I'll give you one. As a Rays fan, Evan Longoria came up in 2008.
Oh, boy.
Was here, and he still plays for the Giants. But like when Evan retires, I'm going to be like, man.
And there's going to be some 15-year-old that's like, excuse me, sir. Yeah, you, sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
Real quick, has a retirement ever hit you in the feels? Like when LeBron retires, will you be in your feels for a little bit?
I ain't going to be in my feels, but I'm going to be like the GOAT, just retired. The best to ever touch a basketball in the history of Earth.
Might be right. You might be right about that. One thing I'm right about is we taking a break. Action Sports Jacks Overtime, ESPN 690. We'll be right back.
Thanks for all the support on the Dream 18 cards. We sold out of Dream 18 cards, and we're raising more funds for local charities through the Dream 18. Coming up next, it's a Dream 18 golf tournament, September 19th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Registration is now open. We'd love you to be a part of it. Buy a foursome, or maybe just play on an individual basis. Maybe it's a tee sign. Get your company involved. Here's how you register. Action Sports Shacks, Dream18.com. September 19th at the Golf Club of Southampton. Play on our Dream 18, Action Sports Shacks, Dream18.com.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Early evening storms as we head into tonight. We start out mostly cloudy, then becoming partly to mostly sunny by early Thursday morning with lows in the lower 70s. Thursday, mostly sunny and hot with a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms with highs in the afternoon in the lower 90s. I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedrick, and that's your Action News Jack's first alert forecast.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, 0 interest financing with nothing down.
Meet Boost, the amazing vitamin boosts that make you feel like
I like to boost it. You like that? Boost it.
Boost Effervescent vitamins turn your H2O into H2O to give you a fizz-tastic feeling like
I like to boost it. My vitamins can boost it. I like to boost it. We like that. Boost it.
Because it's not just vitamins, it's Boost, the fizzing amazing vitamin boost.
Boost it.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Tide presents Laundry Truths, Cold Hard Savings.
Oh, hey, about to start a load. On hot? You know, washing in cold water with Tide can save you up to $150 a year on your energy bill.
$150? Go on.
The lower the temp, the lower your bills. Simple. Plus, Tide Pods are designed for a powerful clean, even in cold.
Wow, cool tip. Get it?
Oh, yeah. I get it.
Turn to cold and save with Tide. Energy savings based on average from switching from hot to cold and non-HE machines.
Did you get the Clement Horizon clean last night? I don't want another barnacle incident. Where's Ivan?
Kiki's head of docking operations just jumped ship.
What do you mean he's sailing around the world?
She needs a new marina manager to help keep her head above water.
Yeah, the tide's perfect, but we are slammed.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Couple of seconds to go. Action Sports Jacks overtime, ESPN 690. Jumbo Shrimp baseball coming up in just about a minute. Brian Middleton, we didn't get into this. We'll get into it a little bit tomorrow. Prayers up for Sam Hartman, quarterback awake. Sounds like he will not play this season due to a non-football injury. We'll break that down a little bit more tomorrow because I tell you what, Brian, I thought Sam Hartman had a chance to win the Heisman Trophy, and that's no joke. That's not something I'm saying now because he won't play. The guy had incredible numbers. Wake's a good team. So prayers up to him. We'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Also, Carathon coming up on Friday. We want to mention that. We'll give you more info on that tomorrow, Brian. That's something you know about working down at WOKV. But a lot of good happening on WOKV on Friday. We'll give you the numbers, where to call. You can find it on the website as well, ESPN690.com. So a couple of things we want to work in before we go to Durham. But now we do go to Durham, and it's Matt Davis. Matt, what's going on in Durham on a Wednesday? What's the day life like in Durham?
What's going on, guys? Not too much. Beautiful day out today. Took a stroll by the Old Carolina League ballpark, which was really cool to see kind of where the Durham Bull movie Bull Durham was filmed, and they still actually use it. Their groundskeepers actually keep the field. I think it's a Division II college that still plays there or something like that, but it was really cool. Caught up with some friends, went to an amazing restaurant. I already forgot the name of it, but it was really healthy, and I had a burger. That's a day in my life today.
What? Now, you said it was really healthy and you had a burger, so was it like a real burger, or was it like a veggie burger?
No, I made it a real burger. Pimento cheese, melted on top, ton of fries, ketchup, the works.
My man. Everything but Arby's, right, Matt? Everything but Arby's. Because I think they got Arby's in Durham.
I completely forgot about that, and I promise I will have my Arby's review at some point because I've never had it. So.
Well, time is ticking, Matt. Literally, it's August. The season ends in September. I'm pretty sure we brought this up in like June, but you got a job.
Still got like 40-something games to go.
40-something games. Well, we'll make it happen. You got a job to do, and I'm taking a lot of your time, so I will give it to you now. You got the Jumbo Shrimp and the Durham Bulls. Matt Davis is on the call. Matt, have a good game, man.
Thanks, guys. It's the left-hander, Josh Rogers, a newcomer to Jacksonville, just signed a minor league contract.